Okay. I can't. Fuck it. I'm comfortable. Fuck it.
Should probably pop out my chat as well. Burn it. Seriously, nobody expects this film to be good at all. So like, I feel bad for the fact that it's like it couldn't get away with surprising anybody with being good. It tried. It wanted to. But yeah, there's a couple of videos that have already been linked, and we could definitely attest to it as well. I'm really curious about what the overall like weekend gross will be for this film, because like, who's going to see it? Because it seems to be very little amount of people, which is shocking for Star Wars, because it's Star Wars. You have to wonder if The Last Jedi really has done this damage. Because you remember, like, Force Awakens made people go nuts.
Oh yeah, man. The Force Awakens, the cinema was packed. It's like, alright, it's a Thursday, maybe Friday would be different, but seriously, Star Wars, it was just like, used to be a big family event, but now it's just, yeah, it's just another Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, this one, I mean, you know, we're gonna get into it, my chat, and we're gonna ignore any questions until the end, because that'll be the smart thing to do, and we'll give you a full overview of the film and talk about all of all the things that happen. But I suppose the simplest version, I would say, you know what's a good question, Al? What was better, this or the prequels?
Pretty cool still.
I think I'd still go with the prequels, yeah, because it kind of feels like there was no reason this film exists.
Yeah, it was competent on most of the things for the most part, but it just didn't really do anything.
You know, something arbitrary I thought was good in this film was the special effects. I liked that a lot of it looked real.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things I have to say about it.
Oh lol, dude, fuck you, no. Mikey went to go see it as well 2 hours ago.
Oh yeah, you love it.
I don't know. He just posted a picture of him in the cinema solo. Who's he gonna go see that with? I wonder. I really want to know.
I wonder if it wouldn't have been our showing, would it? Because we didn't see him.
No, I mean, it was definitely not him. And if it's 2 hours ago, it'd be like 8 o'clock-ish. 9 o'clock-ish. Yeah, no, I would have. Like 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish. Depending on when you uploaded it, you know.
Yeah, mate, what's up? Hello, all of chat. We're just gonna wait a little bit longer to let a couple people come in, and then we're gonna talk about this film. Because you know what? At least I can give that to the film. There's a lot of stuff I actually want to go over. It wasn't like, it's not the kind of thing where I'm like, ugh.
I know. It's not terrible.
I mean, I don't know about you, because you've seen it, so maybe, but like, I really don't think they'll make... I think The Last Jedi is the all-time low for Star Wars. I don't think they'll have the other films will just be inoffensively bad, if you know what I mean. Like this, where it's like, Episode 9 could be really bad, I don't know. But like, once they venture out and they have brand new characters... Oh god, I'm on a streaming gaming and it says I'm on Sly Cooper, whoops. I'll just change that to film and animation. I think it updates. I hope it updates. Yeah, because this is not a gaming stream at all. Mr. Aluminum Jacket, thank you for the $5. Was the SJW stuff played up in the film, or just the writer's virtue signaling?
Oh, just that stupid fucking robot. Fuck that.
If you get rid of L3, the robot, I don't think there's much SJW stuff at all, really, right? Like, it's all that fucking droid. Because everything else seemed relatively tame. I didn't really...
Hey, Cal. how can I repay you?
Huh?
How can I repay you? Equal rights.
Oh right. I mean, at least he sighed, right? Lando was like, ugh.
Yeah. My
'Cause-
spine turned inward.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways to break down why that's so fucking stupid.
That cringe can melt steel beams. Mate.
Apparently, I can't remember if I read this. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's an improv line from the actress as well, and that they loved it. And I was just like, oh, whoops.
Oh.
Was it worse than The Force Awakens?
Nope, it's better.
You think so? Because I actually think so as well. But I thought that maybe that was because I've looked into The Force Awakens so heavily. I know that a lot of people probably didn't realize, but
Probably.
probably, yeah. I know that I prefer it right now personally, but which one's like better or worse? I'm not 100% sure. It probably is The Force Awakens though, is worse.
Yeah.
Claw your eyes out. There are many aliens in the main cast. Yeah, there was loads of aliens in this film. Special effects again instead of CGI by the looks of things. So anyway, we should probably I'll just start up so that we get some coherence in terms of a timeline. What was with they've gotten rid of the crawl. Now they have this weird.
I noticed that. I don't know.
So for people who haven't seen the film, instead of there being the typical Star Wars title crawl, there's like a PowerPoint presentation where it slides of text.
And it comes inward from the screen.
Yeah, so it's weird, and this is the thing. I thought that the plan was that they weren't going to be doing title crawls for the spin-offs, only for the main episodes. But now we have like a weird conjoined twin where it's not quite the crawl, but it's also not a crawl. So it's like wait, what? Very odd. I'm not sure why they didn't just go with the crawl, but whatever. I guess they wanted to have its own identity. The first thing it said, if you remember, is it's something like a lawless time. It's like set in the landscape. It's like it's a lawless time, and I found that really odd because isn't the Empire all over the film? Like they're the law. I don't get it. Like this is between the prequels and the OT, meaning that the Empire was very strong, and now it's only getting stronger during this.
Yeah, it's a lawless time on this planet. There we go.
I mean, even they were on the planet though. They got chased. There's a stormtrooper that goes after them.
Yeah,
and you can't get in and out of the planet unless you are approved by the stormtroopers, which
yeah, because they got a blockade on the whole thing.
you could tell that they were like they wanted it to be, you know, ominous. Like it is a lawless time, and it's like no, it's not. It's like oh well, I mean, it sounded cool.
Yeah, the Empire got their foot on most shit, haven't they?
Yeah. I don't know if it's supposed to be saying that the heroes are lawless, like they don't take, you know, they don't listen to law, because that seems like a pretty blatant mistake, considering the whole point of this film is that Han Solo gets around the Empire and then around crime bosses as well. Like that's his whole thing. So
yeah.
I don't fucking know. But yeah, the fear, because this is the thing, I really feel like this film is trying to apologize and make up for The Last Jedi, and those are two separate things. One being that it's trying to increase the world building to make The Last Jedi make more sense, and the other is that it's like, we know you didn't like this, so we're doing this. There's a couple of those. It feels really pandery in certain points, but I was going to say the first one was when it mentions in the opening about hyperfuel. I was like, oh yeah, because everyone, when they saw The Last Jedi, was like, since when do we need fucking fuel for our ships? I don't remember that being a thing that everyone was concerned with. And like the few references you have are stuff like Obi-Wan gets into this like bonus ship in the prequels to help him hyperdrive, and a lot of people were like, that's probably a fueling ship, and he lands on Utapau, I think it is. I only know this because of the games, actually. I really didn't remember that from the film.
Bloody hell.
It's because of Battlefront 2. Utapau is one of the maps.
I'm just lost at the moment. You're just like, you don't
Oh, well,
like, yeah.
I was going to say that Obi-Wan says to the people on there, he's like, do you have a place for me to refuel my ship? And it's like, okay, I guess there is fuel for the ships. But the opening text for this film is like, people compete for hyper fuel, and then fuel is like the focus of the entire story. Everything revolves around fuel. And that's one of the biggest things people had a problem with in The Last Jedi. So I feel like it's like, oh, you're trying to say like, no guys, it's seriously a thing, 100% a thing, and we're going with it hardcore. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
all right then. You know, and that's the thing. I don't have a problem with that because I don't think there's ever a statement for you know, the film where it's like there is no fuel related things. It's just that I don't. It doesn't. It felt like it was invented in The Last Jedi to make drama, right? While in this film, it makes sense. I don't have a problem with it in this film because it's just a resource. That's the only way it functions in this film. Yeah. It could have been gold. It wouldn't have mattered. And yeah, and then it sets up like the whole, what is that worm thing? Proxima, something like that. Do you know why I remember Proxima is because do you know one of the bad guys in Infinity War that work for Thanos?
Yeah.
One of them is called Proxima Midnight. And then the person in this is called something Proxima. I don't remember, but it doesn't matter. She's mentioned and kind of built up and then dropped. I don't know what the point was. There's a lot of that in this. Have you noticed? Like, do you remember the amount of aliens that we see that we never see again, sort of thing? Yeah. And it feels like they spent a lot of money making all these different things, and for how much time they're on screen, it's very odd. But yeah, she's like this giant worm with loads of arms that can't be in sunlight and lives in a swamp pool thing.
Yeah, and just has like this whole thing built around her, like it looks like.
And then her workers also can't go in the sunlight. It's really weird. It's like they're the vampires of Star Wars, but like, how are they crime bosses? They can't go into sunlight. It just seems awkward. And she lives in a pool. I don't know. I guess those suits they wear make it so that they can do stuff, but that's the setup for how Han begins as a rapscallion speeding around. I don't even know what planet they begin on. Corellia, isn't it? Yeah, because that's the Corellia. God, that name's gonna get squeezed to death thanks to Han Solo saying it in Episode 4. You know, when he meets them, he's like, it's not one of those Corellian ships. These ones are, well, whatever. He says it once, and it's just like, yep, the whole film's based on it now. Get fucked. If he had said any other word, if he had said Corilla Dibbles, it would have been like, well, the planet's called Coribble Dibbles.
Yeah.
That's too close to a Rick and Morty name, though.
Perfect.
So yeah, it opens with him stealing a ship, right? It's like
and it's the most uneventful chase ever because he just like as soon as he drives off, they're just like stop him, and then like he's just like driving like normal speed, like.
Yeah, and then he like turns the corner, it's over, and you're like, okay. And it turns out he was working for Proxima he was supposed to get. I'm assuming he was supposed to get fuel, and then he pockets the fuel instead of getting it for her. That's what's happening. Yeah, so he gets in a speeder, runs off from these people, and then goes to like this refuge that really reminded me of Terminator, by the way. You know, like with the survivors in like a hovel in rags. I got serious Terminator 2 vibes because I was like, this looks just like the flashback. And there's that blue tint all over that scene. And I don't know about you, man, but well, for the audience, me and Alex are not fans of the new Blade Runner. I got that vibe where I think modern films think that if you tint an entire scene one color, it automatically makes you a great cinematographer.
Oh, I know, man. It's like, oh.
I'm already tired of it. I'm calling it because it's going to start popping up even more because it's getting so, like, it's like the easy road to being so impactful and stylish. And Blade Runner basically had it for every single scene. It was just a different color. And it was like, oh, great. got some orange this time. Fucking, when they meet up with Deckard, he lives in Orange Land. And it's like, or it was hit with radiation. It's like, oh, yeah. Right.
Las Vegas always looks like this.
That's just what happens with radiation. Everything goes orange. So yeah, and that's a good point because he meets up with Emilia Clarke. What did you think of Emilia Clarke in this film, Al?
Meh.
I mean, I pretty much feel that way about most of the stuff in this film. Meh.
I'm evil.
I mean, I don't want to be too offensive to it, but like anyone could have done the role. It felt really just, yeah, you said those lines. Well done. Nailed it. She's not. The worry from a lot of people was that she was going to be, overtaking a lot of the scenes, like being the Sarah Connor that ruined Genesis. But honestly, she's not really that imposing at all. She's kind of timid and selectively. I mean, the spoilers, obviously, but the whole twist is that she's kind of passive, and then turns out to be a bigger bad than the villain that we beat in this film. But we'll get to that. Yeah, so she starts out all innocent. I don't even know if I want to do like a full character assessment as we go, or just like wait till the end. But she's all innocent and happy, and girlfriend boyfriend thing going on. So it's like, oh, cute.
Just try to go along with the whole thing, see how it goes.
Yeah. So he gives her the fuel, which, like I said, as far as I remember, it was supposed to be that he gives it to Proxima. He lets her pocket it. They try and leave, and then he gets captured.
Yeah. He gets captured, and they don't even bother like looking at her.
Yeah, they do. They captured together.
It's an obvious companion, and they're just like, nah, you're cool. You're cool.
The I don't even know what you call them. The snake people with like centipede people, snake centipede things, capture Han before he can leave, and Emilia Clarke is like hand in hand with him, if I remember.
Yeah, like she literally screaming about like talking about the ship they're gonna buy.
Yeah, and then they back away from each other, and they capture Han, and they're like, come on, where is it? And they like check his pockets and stuff, and they're like, you don't have it. Well, it's time for you to, you gotta go see Proxima, it's not Proxima, it's something midnight, whatever. And she's just standing right next to them like, yeah, he's, whatever that is, I'm just gonna back away. This is like, oh, why don't you check? She even shows it, do you remember? You can like see it in her hand, and then she puts it under a coat or something. I was like, could you not have spotted that?
Oh well, this is it, isn't it? As the MacGuffin, it glows, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, that is actually, it's not even a criticism necessarily, but it is, like I said, the fucking fuel. It drives the entire film. Everything that happens in this film has something to do with the fuel. And it's just weird because fuel is just not a thing in Star Wars that anyone fucking cared about. But as of this film, it's like, we're gonna go fight the Empire. And it's like, but Han, do we have enough fuel? And it's like, yeah. Do you remember when it was like credits or units or whatever? But like fuel is more important than that these days.
Apparently, I might be a bit quiet.
Oh. Speak again?
Hello.
Yeah, and I think I'm louder than you, but it shouldn't be too much. I guess I'll just boost you. Yep. That should do it.
I'll try to talk a bit closer as well. Actually, one sec.
Alright.
Just gonna mute the mic.
Yeah, just quick question. Is Alex of a good volume, folks?
There you go. I moved the table closest to me, so it might be better now.
Right, let's hope so. So yeah, he goes to this is one of the points I think that is clear about this film. It is extravagant. Him getting captured by all those aliens, dragged through this whole arena into this like giant room that's got this pool, and loads of people surrounding it, and like a whole ceiling of decoration, and it's all for like this 30-second scene. And we never see them again. And like, from what I've heard, this film cost a hell of a lot of money to make, and it hopes to make it back, which is, I think, going to be impossible.
Hard. Yeah.
I mean, because you'd be like, but it's Star Wars, and I'd be like, yeah, but how many people are in the cinema? Like, that's insane, man. That's embarrassingly insane.
Day one, 12 of us.
I made a point to count when the film was over. Did you see somebody leaving the cinema halfway through the biggest action scene of the film? I love it. I absolutely adore people who would leave at that point, just being like, "Yeah, fuck this."
Oh man, yeah. And the audience too. Like I saw like an oldish dad with like a young kid, and I was just like, "Oh god." Suckers.
I love the idea of be like, so Timmy, did you enjoy it? And you'd be like, I don't know. I think so. stuff happened, I think. Oh yeah. Well, so anyway, the Midnight person is about to kill Han because this is another thing that I found weird. She's like, you need to do, this. You need to have had this resource. You need to do blah blah blah. And he's just like, well, if you hit me again, I'm gonna hit back. And then like a guy just pulls a gun on him, like, the fuck you doing? It's like, oh right, yeah, I'm kind of outnumbered, and you all have weapons. Fuck. So they could have killed him right then and there. In fact, they plan to, but they just talk about it for ages, which is another issue in this film, because they try and create tension when we know that Han is going to live for another, like, 60 million years. So,
yeah,
it doesn't work. Do you remember the joke they do, which is he pulls out a stone and says it's a thermal detonator?
Yeah.
So, thermal detonator, do you remember that from, that's episode 6, I believe they first show it. It's Leia's costume in Jabba's palace. She's like, she activates it, and C-3PO is like, it's a thermal detonator. So I'm like, oh yeah, I remember thermal detonators. I feel like there's a lot of that in this film. It's like, yeah, I remember those.
To be fair, they're in Dark Forces.
I meant Return of the Jedi. If I didn't say that,
yeah.
I don't know if they popped up in episode 4 or 5. I'd have to scour the interwebs for that one, but yeah. And she's like, that's not a thermal detonator, that's a stone. And then he's like, no, it's not. And I legit like sat there like, it's not that this is like an awful joke, is anyone gonna laugh at this? It's kind of just like, yeah, that is a stone. It's like, okay then, that is a stone.
It seemed more like a Homer Simpson joke.
Yeah.
I would place you.
And then it would like turn out to actually explode, just because Homer had it or some shit.
Yeah.
You sound sick. Oh, I hope not. I'm not actually sick. I'm fine. Anyway, yeah, so they get out because Han blows a hole in the ceiling and it shines light directly in a line directly on the fucking worm's face. And it's like, wow, he has good aim.
Sure.
Yeah, which is another thing that they don't bother establishing. We'll go over this, but like Han's abilities, they have the movie to explain why Han is good as a pilot, a smuggler, a gambler, and a good shot. They do none of it.
And the answer is he just is.
He just is, yeah. I mean, we've got, like I said, the film opens with him being a speeder stealer. It's like, so he has to be a good pilot, right? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It feels like driving a speeder and piloting the Millennium Falcon is a different kind of thing. Like,
and Chewie also knows how to pilot that. Just because. Oh
yeah, we'll get to that. I had a huge problem with when I saw that scene. I was like, why? Why could he do this?
Chewie gets a free pass too because he's a Wookiee, I
have something else to say about that scene as well, where Chewie splits from Han, but we'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah.
So yeah, that speeder that Han stole, he just like had it parked outside the gang's area, and like what I don't get about that is that if the gang is like hell bent on taking anything you have because you work for them, how didn't that speeder get like taken by them as well? They'd be like, oh, someone parked this speeder outside, we're gonna steal it because we're the crime people around here. It's like, no, just leave it out and leave it alone. I don't know if he like hotwires it, and maybe that explains why they didn't touch it.
He did fuck with the cables. He definitely did that. He didn't have the keys for it because he had to do it again when he picked up Emilia Clarke or whatever.
Yeah, and so they run for they speed off for a while. They go to a checkpoint. Oh well, I guess I'm skipping over like they crash because it's a setup. He tries to do this move and it fails, and then he ends up doing the move later and it succeeds, and it's kind of like the signature Millennium Falcon move where it turns on its side because every single hole in the galaxy has a moment where it's a space that can only be used by the Millennium Falcon if it turns on its side. Like, it's never more complicated than that. And somehow it always defeats TIE fighters that are following it too. Like, it's always only thin enough for a Millennium Falcon but not thick enough for a TIE fighter.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't even get, like, I'm not a fucking speeder mechanic, right? But, like, he turns it on his side and it eventually runs out of juice, sort of thing. It's like, wouldn't it just keep going because it doesn't matter what's beneath you as long as there's a surface? Wouldn't that be how speeders work?
I wasn't sure.
Because it just stops working and it's like, oh, okay. It's not like he gets jammed. It just, meh. It doesn't really matter because they could have done anything there.
I think it might have been it just got too damaged from grinding. Like I can't remember what the like propulsion system is, where like when it pushes it.
Because it looks like it comes from the back, right? Because it shows like an activating of the engine is just like.
Yeah. I can't remember. It's not like is it like a pod racer, like with two on the side, like?
Yeah, like it's one on either side at the back. They both push it forward, so you'd imagine that it doesn't matter that they. Let's just assume it was too damaged, because that's just who fucking cares anyway. But they do pick up a stormtrooper during that race. Like a stormtrooper just gets involved and gets booted out, and nobody seems to give a shit. It's like. Because, yeah, did you notice, by the way, that apparently the crime people outrank the Empire? Because the crime people walk into the Empire's checkpoint, and the Empire's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he, like, boops him with a stick, and he's like, oh, okay.
I guess he, like, more like, he didn't want to, like, have trouble, like, they wouldn't...
I mean, I'm okay with that. It's just strange, I guess, because, like, I was like, did the Empire care that one of their troopers got killed at all? I don't know. I guess not. And I suppose... there was respect for Jabba in Tatooine from the Empire, sort of. They don't just assault the place. So yeah, that's fine. They end up at...
Yeah, because the Stormtrooper didn't call anyone in. Like, he didn't have... Well, he just seemed like to call in radio, say, oh, like, I'm fucking chasing these bastards down or something like that, so... You can presume, like, they like, hadn't found him yet, or he hadn't reported back from his patrol or something like that.
Do you love that thing as well just had hounds? That it was just these weird, like, worms with legs?
It's just another thing. It's like, yep, they spent fucking thousands on that.
It's like, why couldn't you just... I know it has to be alien everything, but you could have made a real dog look alienish. You didn't have to spend what was probably $1 million on making these worm dogs.
To be honest, if I saw a dog in Star Wars, I'd be a bit perplexed or whatever.
Well, I don't know, man. There was a lot of real-ass people in the original trilogy alongside aliens, but in this one, it really does feel like they wanted to make everything alien, aside from Han Solo and Emilia Clarke. And Stormtroopers, obviously. But,
more world building.
But, like, that's what I mean. You could find a dog that was just vicious enough that you could be like... Well, no, it was worth it. It was worth it. It's going to make loads of money because of those dogs. That's going to be the thing that people end up referencing. But yeah, like, I don't know, they wanted to capture Han that much that they were, like, willing to go into the Empire checkpoint, so I imagine that the Empire just don't seem to... I don't get it. Do they have effects on this planet or not? Because they're the people you have to get through to be able to enter and leave the planet, so...
Well, they seem to have a blockade on it, but I don't really know, like... They have a blockade, but they don't have complete control of, like, the black market and underground.
Yeah.
Like in like games like Knights of the Old Republic, they do that as well, where they occupy the planet, but they don't have control of all the gangs and shit.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I don't really care. It's just interesting, to explore.
It's not the Empire in Knights of the Old Republic, but it's the same bad guy figure.
You know what? It's fine. We'll explore it when they make the Han Solo official game. It's not going to happen. There'll be a Lego one, probably. This is about as far as it'll go.
Well, it's up to EA to make the games right now, and they just seem to be...
How does it work with Lego, then? Do they just, like, throw out the license for the specific thing?
Yeah, it's just EA who have owned the rights to do Star Wars games, and then like the Star Wars Lego games. I can't remember who owns the rights for them right now.
Huh. Well, anyway, do you remember that checkpoint is where he hands her his dice, where they've already focused on the dice in his speeder. He just puts them on and takes them off. He's very, very dependent on these dice. No idea where they come from or what they mean. They're just dice he has. They're given meaning, I suppose, when he gives them to her and she gives them back. But, like, before that, it's just dice that he has.
Yeah.
And I was expecting the film, if they're going to go with the whole dice thing, to actually explain why they matter. But I suppose, like, before they mattered because they were sentimental, but, whatever. And now, thinking about it, isn't it weird that Luke hands Leia the dice? Like, in The Last Jedi? Because what the dice represent is Han's connection to Emilia Clarke. Like, that seems a little bit weird. Like,
I have not made that connection.
Like Luke being like, "Hey, by the way, he loved this girl more than you. I'm gonna hand these dice to you." It's like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. He was doomed all along. He's, he likes gnarly girls.
But like, that's another sort of not an apology. It's like a bolster of The Last Jedi, because I was saying to you on our way back, The Last Jedi put a lot of focus on the dice when most people were just confused because it was like the dice was barely even in the OT, because it's like in one scene where you can see it hanging on the thing. So everyone was just like, "Oh, Luke gave her a piece of Han's ship in a way." There you go. That's nice. And it's like, okay, but now this film is like, no. The dice are way more important than that. And it's like, oh, all right. But then they don't bother explaining much about it. But anyway, they're important because he gives them to Emilia Clarke like seconds before he's split from her, and of course they're gonna come back. And you know, we're gonna have to get into it at the end. But like, this film sequel baits like crazy.
Oh yeah, especially the end, of course.
And I'm assuming the reason that the dice have been used is to be like, she gave him back the dice. She held on to them this whole time. Maybe she isn't evil. Is she evil? How evil is she? And it's like, that's really interesting. Can't wait to pursue that. But you realize, by the way, the whole plot for this film is because Emilia Clarke was like, I put the thing in the thing, and then you open the door. No, open the door first, then I put the thing in the thing. That's the reason they got caught. It's like, if your whole plan hinged on bribing the Empire, then you should probably just go full throttle and just try, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Because the idea that it's like, hey, could you please open the door first, and then we'll put it in, why in the world would she agree to that?
Yeah.
What if you ran through with it? She'd have to call security on you, and at that point, you should just be like, she could call security on us no matter what here. Let's just go for it, drop it in. And if they had dropped it in, it would have been fine. But no, Emilia Clarke gets captured, and it's very dramatic because they're separated now permanently, and there's no way they're gonna connect back again. That's not what this film's gonna be about. So, did you think it was funny that nobody captures him when they call full security, and he's saying, you know, don't go for like a whole minute before trying to like evade?
Oh man, nobody reacted, and then like he quickly just grabbed a fucking robe and like a handkerchief or something like that.
He grabs like a hat off. What, I don't know if it's like a dwarf or a kid or something, but I remember being like, why do you think you could just grab a hat and that the person wouldn't complain? He'd be like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Give me back my hat. And it's just like, nope, they don't care. He grabs a cloak and a hat off people. They just don't seem to be bothered. But there's no stormtroopers on the other side of the line, right? Like, because if there were, he'd get captured straight away. Yeah. And it's just like,
even though that's their side of the line, especially. Yeah,
you'd think that that's the important fucking side to be on, but you know, fine.
That's the side with all like the guard towers or whatever, which like have the doors access. They'd be on that side.
It's not even a big place, and they have loads of people up at the top. And she says, "Security, security, alert!" It's like that is the point where every stormtrooper looks down at the outpost thing. Or the checkpoint.
No, man. They were all in on it.
They're all in on it. Yeah, and so Han comes up with the idea that he can't get out of here now, so he's going to join up with the Empire instead. And I don't even know why that's a thought that went through his head, because if you remember, he's like in the queue, and then someone's getting checked behind him for whether he's a Han Solo, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, so these random other officers are looking for Han Solo, but this guy at the checkpoint hasn't been alerted about, you know, a potential runaway who's trying to do whatever, security breach. Because he doesn't seem to care. He's just like, oh, another person who wants to join up. All right. Which, by the way, I actually appreciate the fact that they've got, that's what I always thought the Empire was made of, was like people who were conscripted, or I suppose signed up, while in The Last Jedi, fucking continuity, the whole thing is about how they've been brainwashed from birth, if you remember. And yet Finn is a thing, but you know, it was a faulty brainwashing, damn it.
Yeah. Well, they suggest they were, I can't remember like what suggested they were conscripted like in the original trilogy.
I think it was left up in the air, but this film has basically made it so yes, that is how it works. And yeah, it takes us to the war planet. I said this to you in the cinema, right? Because I was just like, what planet was this? It's just a planet filled with fog and explosions. That's it.
It was the low budget part of the film.
It's just you could tell what they were going for as well, right? The whole, Saving Private Ryan wannabes, where it's like, this is so horrible, and Han looks behind him as people get blown up. His commander's like, "Follow me!" Then he gets exploded. Han's like, "Oh God!" And then, he meets Pistol Magoo, who has to flip his pistol after every shot for some stupid reason.
Yeah, even though he's not changing the bullet.
There's no way he's doing that.
It's a laser gun. It just pew pew pew.
Have you seen? I think it's Expendables actually. Stallone has a revolver where you have to pull the hammer back every time you shoot, and despite that, despite being like a mercenary or whatever with the best weapons, he just has that, and he has this payoff shot in every film where he goes like boom, 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 boom by pulling the hammer back as soon as he fires over and over again. And to me, whenever I watched it, I was just like, good God, suck your own dick more, because obviously he's the director. And that's how I felt about this character. It's like, why are you flipping the gun? It doesn't give you an advantage to flip the fucking gun. Stop doing that.
I've not seen The Expendables, but you showed me that scene because you were pissed off about that years ago.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember you showed me of your house doing that. You're just like, oh, just watch this. It's definitely on your laptop. But I was just like, oh, wow, yeah. Because I never saw it, but you were like, oh, yeah. And then you showed me, I think it was from number 2 you showed me as well or something.
Yeah, he really just thought he was awesome when he was making those films. But I mean, it's not like they were good films or anything. They're awful. But this character is defined by the fact that he has a pistol in each hand. He's also a really good shot, which would have been a great setup for him to teach Han how to be a better shot, but there's nothing like that at all in the film. He even at one point says, "You're gonna have to teach me how to do that" or something, but he doesn't. I don't even. Why would Han want to know how to flip his pistol around? It doesn't. It doesn't do anything. This is the thing, because when you have stylish reloads or stylish ways to store your gun, or the thing in Fargo and a couple of other stuff where it's attached to your arm, so you can slot it out like a secret way. There's a couple of things we'd be like, oh, that could have an advantage. And it's just like, no, you just flip the gun. That's it. Oh, and I will be making a video about this if anybody's curious. I think I put it in the title. Yeah, for a future video.
Yeah, people are, yeah.
So yeah, he meets up with him, and I actually thought it was decently clever that he says, you're in charge now, Captain. And then he looks down at his chest, and it's got the 2 bullet holes in it, and they start laughing. They're like, yeah, what do we do, Captain? In my head, I was thinking oh, he's stolen the uniform. And then later on, they lay it out completely. He's like, you have bullet holes in your chest. That means that either you heal really fast, or you've stolen that from someone. And I was like, oh man, that's what I thought, but now you've told me. It's
I know, yeah. Thank you, Phil.
In case you weren't following. But yeah, I guess that they were there for a job. They were on Planet War to do a job, and I think it was to steal the thing they end up using to try and move a transport, right? Somehow they can just do that. The Empire doesn't really have much security or, I don't know, accountability for anything. They literally just arrive on the battlefield, steal uniforms, pretend to be in the battle, and then actually able to... He calls a lieutenant over as a captain, and he's just like, yeah, this guy's a traitor, arrest him. And it's the most oh, that's it, huh? Okay. He just commands respect in the Empire, and then they leave with the transport, and the Empire's kind of out of the film for a while. It's just odd.
A certain someone said that Solo equals good shit.
Well, sure it does. Guzzy Hero, thank you for the £5. Congrats on 50k subs, you deserve them and more. Yes, I hit 50k yesterday. That's pretty cool. I've said this to I think Fortier and someone else, but just another 50, and then YouTube owes me a big chunk of plastic, so we got that to look forward to. I'll have to mount it, and then it's on to 1 million subs, which will be easy, right? You get the is it the diamond one at 50 million? I think that's PewDiePie is the only person who has that. But yeah, thank you very much.
I have that one too.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Alex has got a different account. You guys wouldn't know it because it's intelligent content.
My identity is hidden on this for this reason.
Yeah, they then go take, because basically Han Solo wants to join this bunch of like, you know, imposters, because why not? He hates being with the Empire, which apparently he was with for 3 years, right? That's the skip.
Yeah, he was there for 3 years, but then like now it's like it's like his chance to hop off. Okay.
It's weird because he's so okay with it. They're like, you'll become an outlaw, and then he's just like, I don't care, I'll be a deserter. And it's like, why have you waited 3 years to, if you're so arbitrarily gonna be a, you know, a deserter? Why wouldn't you just left already anyway?
Yeah, whilst Emilia Clarke during this time was like converted to be like, you know.
Oh yeah, and by the way, the passage of 3 years, I was like, she's probably not even on that planet anymore. Like, but it's stupider than that. She just bumps into it. It's like, oh, of all the people that the main villain could have as a subordinate, it was here. It's like, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
So they fucking decide to feed the deserter to the beast, and it's like, oh my god, who's the beast gonna be, guys? Who's
it's a Thor Ragnarok moment.
It's funny because it makes sense in Thor Ragnarok. In this one, I'm like, wait, are you telling me that Chewie has been eating people this whole time? It's like, oh my goodness. Chewie's a good guy. Chewie's a good guy.
He's lucky, isn't he? Fucking.
I love the idea that if you talk to him after he saved the world along with everyone else in the OT, it's like, have you eaten humans? And he's like, yeah. What? It's like, it's alright. The beast is Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I like you guys.
So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the beast is Chewbacca, and apparently the Empire feed humans to him that desert the army, I guess. I don't know why they've been transporting a fucking Wookiee wherever they go instead of just executing people. It seems like a lot of work. And the fact is that... Did you have a problem with this? I kind of did. I was like, how are they going to convert these two into friends? And it's like, because Han Solo can speak Wookiee. And then I was just like, but that shouldn't really make a difference. Chewie can understand English.
And again, why can he speak that? It's just another thing. It's
like, oh yeah, that's another ability that they don't explain.
Let's explain his origin. Oh yeah, you can speak this language. Oh, so I presume there's Wookiee characters on your original planet. You're gonna spend like a minute showing that, like just to suggest that you might have learned it as a second language.
And it's not a problem in the originals because Han Solo doesn't fucking win all the time, and his abilities don't always get him out of the situation. This film is built so that all of the problems can only be solved by Han Solo, and all of the reasons that he solves these problems have absolutely no explanation. He just can't do them.
Yeah, because he has to, because he's the one, because he can.
Because he's Han Solo, that's why he can fucking speak Wookiee. It's odd because it'd be like, why would you be able to speak Wookiee? You were essentially just a homeless person who stole shit on a random planet where everyone spoke English. It's like, why would you speak Wookiee? I can't. Is there a line in the film at all to explain that, or is it just nothing?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't remember there being a line.
I don't think there's any explanation. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh yeah. Do you remember Han could do this in the original trilogy? We don't explain why, even though this is kind of like his origin story. Like that's how he gets his name.
Oh fuck, we skipped over that. When he's signing up for the Empire, he's like, "What's your name?" And then Han Solo goes, "My name's Han." And then he's like, "Okay. Well, what family or collective do you belong to?" And then Han looks around and he's like, I'm on my own. And then the guy's like, you're on your own, Han. The whole audience is like, is it Solo? And he's like, Solo! And you're like, oh, right. That's how he gets his name. Some random guy just said, you're Han Solo. He's like, okay.
But dude, don't deny. It was more tense than the Sorting Hat with Harry Potter and Gryffindor.
I would have way preferred the fucking Sorting Hat.
Do you remember that moment where he's like, slippery?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was way more tense. That was just stupid.
Yeah, this film, it felt like they were like, oh fuck, we gotta name him, don't we? If I was in the writing room, I'd be like, he can just be called Han Solo, it's fine. It's like, no, we gotta make an origin for his name. It's like, why?
It's because he's a rogue.
So yeah, he says he's alone and his name is Han, and so the writing guy says, very well, you are Han Solo. It sounds so cartoonish, but it's real. I love how everybody's reacting right now.
I'm on that. Oh, I just remember the Mario film. What's your first name? Mario. What's your second name? Mario.
And then he says the other guy's Luigi Mario.
Yeah. And then said it's Mario. It's Mario. The fuck.
Right, so Chewie's trying to kill him over and over and over again, and then Han says he does a bunch of Wookiee noises and convinces Chewie to work with him to escape.
Yeah, there's no real conviction. It's just literally, oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I said, the turn.
But the thing is, the thing is, Chewie he can understand English, so it makes me wonder, did nobody else ever try bargaining with him in English?
Well, Han tries it in English. I know that if you were a Wookiee and someone spoke Wookiee to you, that would be a surprise, but he reasons with him in the exact same way in Wookiee, and for some reason that works, but English doesn't, even though Chewie understands them both, so it just is confusing. Well,
yeah, he just, he becomes his pet immediately because of that.
I mean, I will give the film credit, Chewie is not on board at first, because he does run off, doesn't he? And then Han is like, idiot, go this way. But he does become pretty much just, the major moment is later when he decides to go with Han instead of the Wookiees.
I'm pretty sure he disobeys Han in the original trilogy as well. I swear Han, shouts at him a few times.
Well, I don't understand why. I mean, we'll get there. I just wanted to say, I don't get why Chewie chooses to stay with Han. It's not really explained, as far as I'm concerned. It's just yeah, why not? It's like, oh, okay. Koja, thank you for the $5. Loved your Infinity War video. Keep up the great work. Well, there will be a Han Solo one, so we shall see. Hey, Mola, since when do you have more than 2,000 subs? Since The Last Jedi would be the answer to that one.
Who asked that question?
Brian. Anyway. So...
Wow.
What?
Oh no, just 2,000 subs as a while ago.
I know, it was December, man. Sunrise, sunset. They didn't actually do the whole. They don't do an explanation for why the ship is called the Millennium Falcon, do they? They just say it's the Millennium Falcon. You'd think they would do one for that because it's not. That's not the class of ship that it is. But yeah, it's just the Millennium Falcon, and that's it. So, really weird choices in this film in terms of what they were like, what are we going to do in terms of origin story stuff? We're going to do this, is Darth Maul in this? Oh, we'll get to it. Yoda spoke to Chewbacca in English. Yeah, well, we already know that Chewbacca understands English. He does it throughout the OT as well.
Yeah, he's basically like the French, where he just chooses not to,
Yeah, well, we assume that he just can't speak it because his species is unable to speak it. Do you remember as well, when they break this jail, the two fucking idiot stormtroopers are standing on the only grate that falls at first. And it's like, you guys should have just... Why would you even stand on the grate? Stand on the fucking safe area and stare in. You don't have to stand on top of the thing that gets what is essentially rippled 5 times, and then they go, oh, I think it's gonna fall. Oh no! It's like, yes, there you are. But yeah, they break out, and then for some reason, the people who got Han put in prison decide, yeah, okay, I guess he can come along now. They even point that out in the film. One of the other people in the team are like, don't you dare think about hiring these people. But then he just does. There's no real reason for it. I think he just says something like, the other one says that it would be good to have someone strong for this mission, right? That's about it.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, they're just like, yeah, could. And the little dude with the multiple arms was just like, I like you.
Yeah, and let's be honest, dude. You remember how this mission goes? They wouldn't have gone anywhere without Chewie and Han. It literally wouldn't have worked for many reasons. It's like, I don't even understand how they thought they were going to do it. Do you remember when it took Han and Chewie to be able to detach the couple thing? Was what's his name? Woody Harrelson planning on doing that himself? Because that never would have worked.
Yeah, it was so bizarre. He was literally on his own because because Maeve, she's not Maeve. It's the same actress.
Oh, I'll be calling her Maeve in this fucking video.
Yeah, in Westworld. I don't know her actual name.
Tandy Newton is her real name.
She was putting the bombs on the bridge, and then the little dude with the multiple arms was piloting the ship. So, yeah, Woody Harrelson would have to done that all by himself, like
which never, ever would have happened. He had to defend against the army of droids and the incoming imposter people.
Oh yeah, but he also had the stormtroopers, didn't he? Like, they actually popped up for the little.
Oh yeah, they were stormtroopers as well. There was 3 different fucking factions of enemies for Woody Harrelson to have to deal with, while also decoupling a thing that a Wookiee couldn't even do until giving like 20 seconds to one. I don't understand how in the hell he thought he would be able to do that. Even if there were no enemies, I don't even get it. Do you remember the shower scene?
Oh yeah.
That was weird. I don't even. This is what I mean about this film. There's so many jokes that are just like, was that a joke? Did you want the audience to laugh? Because that was awkward.
Yeah.
It's just like, we couldn't shower separately, and then she was just like, meh. And it was like, okay, why? Because this is the thing. I did hear about it casually from someone. Someone said something like, "Oh my god, can you believe there's the SJW element and there's a shower scene between Han and Chewie?" And I was like, "Oh, well, that's a joke." And then I saw that, and I was like, why? And it's supposed to be that they're both muddy because of the prison they were in, and so they need to shower. And then the funny joke is that they shower together, and they're really close to each other. And you just like, why? It's not even that long. It's like 5 seconds.
And the slow porn music kicks in.
Of course.
Or George Michael's song with the saxophone. I can't remember the song.
So yeah, they then have the scene that you need to have where he goes, "So, what's your name?" And then he's like, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, "We're gonna have to get a nickname for you, pal." It's like, yeah, you are. And then, like, from that point on, everyone in the film calls him Chewie. You would have thought they'd have a thing where they all sit down and go, "What about Chew? How about Cha?" And then he's just like, "No." And then someone goes, "How about Chewie?" And he's like, "That's perfect." But no, they didn't do that, so we're alright, folks. $5 from Chris Evans. Paradise Snare and Hut Gambit did this all so much better. How he knew Wookiee, his piloting skills, etc. No name or dice focus. Also, Bria greater than Kira. Well, I was going to say, they must have done it better, because if they did anything, it would be better. I mean, I'm not even sure which one you would say is the most heinous out of his abilities, Al, but like the gambling one is seriously stupid. Comes out of fucking nowhere.
Oh, well, we said, didn't we, on the... Oh, fucking hell, sack then. We said on the way, on the car ride home, just the whole, it's not beginner's luck, but actually it is.
Yeah.
When he starts it, it's like, he pronounces it wrong. It's like, at first it's like, so are you hustling them?
And the only way he can be beaten is if the enemy is cheating. It's like, wow, you must be really good.
Yeah, Lando has to cheat, and then like, it's a decent neat moment at the end where like he
takes the car, yeah.
But it would have been better if there was something to explain the cards, just like everything about him.
Yeah, that moment would have been great if they displayed the cards.
He's great at everything, but this is his origin story. There's no Spider-Man moment when he's getting beat up in a fucking cage by bloody what's his name? Well, he's called Rick Sword.
Oh yeah, I know.
Randy something. Yeah, but he doesn't have that moment where he's going through the motions of learning anything. He's like, he's a great pilot. He can pilot this shit.
I mean, the biggest struggle Han Solo has in this film is his fight with Chewie, which, by the way, should have broken his spine like 3 times.
Chewie should, in the first time Chewie got hold of him, should just pulled his arms off like he would anyone else.
Yeah, he's just lucky because Chewie decides to throw him around. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, like the worse he treats him is like a severely pissed off person in the mosh pit. It's like, all right.
And yeah, just PSA if you will, but we're going through the whole movie right now, me and Alex. But if you want to catch this video, it's not going to be public, it'll be unlisted, and if you want to find it, it'll be in Watto's junkyard in the Discord, so you know, just go to the Discord and find it, and then you can leave the Discord easy. Or you can save the link you have now. There'll be a link at the top of your page, and once it goes unlisted, that link should still work, so join the Discord or do that. You'll be able to find the whole video if you've missed the beginning.
Yeah. Hang on, dude. I was just saying, I want to go for a quick toilet break. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. See you in a bit.
Yeah, let's mute myself for a sec.
Yeah, I suppose we're through like the intro to the film, and that sounds boring and awful. I mean, the film is very mediocre and meh, and it's like, can you muster anything else to say about it? It's like, not really. But it's me, guys, so you'll get plenty of me ripping into it or praising it where I find details. Someone asked what I think of Hello Greedo. I've only seen the one video from him defending The Last Jedi. I wasn't impressed. I interacted with him on Twitter and asked if he'd like a discussion. He said something along the lines of, why would he want to pursue perspectives that he's not interested in? And I think he said that Star Wars is not the series to be discussing like seriously or something like that. You'd have to go check my Twitter history, but I offered to chat with him and he wasn't interested. So more power to his channel. I'm just not too interested, I guess. Did they make Han that way to try and make up for the way they treated the male characters in The Last Jedi? I think that this film tries to make up for a lot of the mistakes in The Last Jedi. I'll explain that once we get to sort of the things I think that are related to that in this film. We haven't got to them just yet, I don't think, but the fact that Han is so powerful in this film, to me, feels like they were like, yeah, we need to make up for the fact that Han was kind of humiliated in TFA and then super humiliated in The Last Jedi when his name is mentioned once in a scene where they cut off someone mourning him. So it feels like they were like, see, look, he's awesome, he's powerful. They don't have many payoffs for his blaster. There's only like one scene I remember where he's handed the gun, then fires immediately, and it's like, yeah, he fired that gun. It's like, oh, okay. Do you like Spaceballs? Yes. Is it better or worse to be mediocre as opposed to straight bad? I suppose it's better to be mediocre. Because I would watch this more than I would watch The Last Jedi, if that makes sense. Solo, a Star Wars story, and unbridled meh. I can definitely get a riled up rant about this film. There's so much shit that we're gonna get to that's gonna frustrate you guys. So far, everything is tame and just kind of like okay. Nothing to make you sort of frustrated, but there are things coming. Morgan Bell, thank you for the $5. Congrats on the 50k subs. Love your TLJ critique. How did Solo rank compared to the rest of the Disney Star Wars films? Good question. Thank you for the $5. And it's kind of, I put it above The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. It's probably above Rogue One, because I remember there being a lot more plot issues in Rogue One than there are in this. And there's a couple of characters that actually are like okay in this film in terms of like, huh, that's interesting. And I guess one thing I would say though is that do you see much of Han Solo in this film?
No.
Because I was gonna say I really didn't. It felt like it was a different person, really, and not like dramatically, but because I didn't hate the guy. It was just like I don't get the impression you're Han Solo at all. He's not. It's not anything from Episode 4, certainly. Like did you get like the sense of him being smarmy and just
he had to learn it later on in life.
He's cunning and stuff. That's the thing. I think they're saving this for movie 2 and 3, and that this is just the beginning. Because I don't know about you, but I felt like he was the most like Han Solo in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that they just want to set it up. I don't know. Anyway, so we were at the point where they're about to like set up for the job. Do you remember? This is important because Woody Harrelson dismantles a rifle and then throws it at Han Solo, and it's his gun, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
this is your iconic gun. Cherish it for the next 50 years.
It's weird. He's like, I need a gun. And then he's like, here's my rifle. I split it in two, took off the end of one part and stuck it to the beginning of this part. Took off, like, I don't even know what you'd call it, like the stock. And then handed it to him like a pistol. And he was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's like he was given like a level 1 gun after like he left his like the tutorial area, and
That's-
all of a sudden like he keeps it forever.
Yeah, by the way, this film doesn't tell you any reason for why he uses this gun. It's just, he just hands him one. It's like, there you go. There's nothing makes this gun special, but apparently he keeps it for his whole fucking life. And you know, you could be like, why does the gun need to be special if it just kills people? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It feels like a wasted opportunity.
But it's more special because it came from Woody Harrelson, who's like, his teacher in this film. So that's why.
Yeah, I think I would go as far as saying he's a mentor in this film in more ways than just one. It's a very different kind of mentor, right? Like, he teaches Han by doing things that Han will now learn from, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, he warned him about being fucked over by fucking him over.
Yeah, that line was really on the nose in the film, where he's like, you know, you should always stay ahead of your enemies. And it's like, okay, why'd you look at me when you said that? Woody Harrelson's like, oh, no reason. It's like, okay, buddy.
Clunk.
And do you remember when Han Solo cites that as the reason to... Okay, again, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I have so many problems with how that scene goes. The fucking one in the final showdown, if you will. Well, the final showdown before the final showdown. In terms of how it comes together. But anyway, yeah, so they all just, like, chill out, and it's definitely a you should care about all these people scene, because they're just talking about how they love different people, how they're all trying to get to a life where they don't have to be evil. Except Monkey Dude. He doesn't really have any... He's just friendly.
He's just in it for the shit and giggles.
Yeah. And but they do go like... Woody Harrelson and Maeve love each other, okay? They kiss, and she says something like, everyone needs someone in this world.
Yeah, and then, like, next scene, dead.
I was gonna say, the whole reason they did that was like, well, we're gonna kill her in a minute, so we need you to care, okay?
And it's just like a shit little payoff. It's like, he's just like, I never trust anyone. Anyone could cheat on me. It's just like, oh, I guess... Is this grief about your wife? Because you haven't even like really like said anything about her. You just kind of forgot.
Dude, someone just posted L3BGTG.
Oh god.
That is suitable. But yeah, so that scene ends, and don't worry, guys. The SJW droid has not been introduced yet.
People are so eager. It's like, oh my god, tell us about the droid.
Oh man. So yeah, that's when the job takes place, and like, it's so strange because there's so many components to this. It's like, it's the good guys that are split into like 3 teams. One person is really far ahead, preparing to blow up the train tracks, because if they do that, then they'll be able to uncouple the train and just take it away, like lift off it. And it's just like, okay. One person is piloting the ship that's going to grab this uncoupled train, and then the other 3 have to just uncouple it. Simple as that. It's like, okay. But then you've got an old enemy of Woody Harrelson's, whose whole goal is to try and poach his jobs, apparently. So, like, whenever he's doing something, these people try to show up so that they can steal the thing he's attempting to steal, so that they steal, and I don't even get it, really. It's like, why don't you just steal stuff? Why'd you try to steal from... I don't even remember if they it's almost like rushed, because Maeve just says, damn it, I told you, blah 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 is here, and then Woody Harrelson's like, ugh, I'll never hear the end of this, like, old married couple thing, and it's like, who the fuck are these people? And it's like, in masks, with speeders coming at them, and like, this is at the same time,
yeah.
This is at the same time as they're being hit by the Empire. There's a bunch of stormtroopers. And they've already set up as well that you should be worried about. If everyone in chat probably hasn't seen this movie, there is the droid in Hoth that scouts. It's like a scouting droid that goes to loads of different planets thanks to Vader. It finds Han and Chewie, I think, and they shoot it and it dies. And like I assumed the only point of it was to do recon, but it fires blasters in that film as well. It does fire at Han and Chewie. But in this film, there's like, apparently they're a defense force, and they're sent out to help the ship if ever it's in distress of any kind. And so that's set up because they eventually come out as well. Things go wrong because they actually do bait Chewie's death, by the way. That wasn't just in the trailer, that's actually in the film.
Bizarrely.
I don't... Why wouldn't you just bait any of the other characters that aren't Han and Chewie? It's like the most obvious choice. You could have done it with Woody Harrelson. That would have made way more sense. But no, they bait Chewie's death. They're like, Chewie's about to die. Oh no, Willie won't he? Willie won't he? And it's like, oh, he survived. No way. Oh, a lot of people talked about there's a character called Thim Scissorpunch in the film. They never mention him by name, so he's not really an issue, but I do find it really just an awful piece of naming, I suppose. He's like, he's at the table when they're doing their gambling shit, and it's just like, yeah, fair enough.
I guess they just named him that because he'd never have to be spoken out loud.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was a joke by then. They were like, oh, this is so funny, called him Thurb Scissorpunch. I can't exactly remember how this scene goes down. It's like something goes wrong because those evil bounty hunter people turn up, if you can call them that. I don't even know what Marauders is what Harrelson calls them.
Yeah.
They fuck everything up, basically. They manage to decouple part of the train, but they still got one left, Han and Chewie. That's their job. I keep nearly saying Harrison Ford. Woody Harrelson is just shooting people over and over again. He's just not getting shot because he's that good. Like the whole film builds him as he is so fucking good with two pistols. Nobody can beat this guy with two pistols. It's just like, oh, why? It's like, no, it just is. And it's like also Han Solo has this power as well. It's like neat, I guess. But what I do remember is once they decouple the back of the thing, that's where they lose the Empire, because apparently the Empire were only on that side of the fucking train. They're not in the one that they don't decouple. So it's just like, oh, okay.
It works.
But then the Marauders fuck it up because they get inside their ship and the monkey guy gets shot and he just sort of dies a tad unceremoniously, because you can tell that these films always want to make a big deal out of a death. They'll be like, emotional burst, and you're like, oh. But like Han Solo's just looking at the monkey dude and he's like, are you dead? And he's just like, no, I'm not dead. And then he's like, you dead now? And then he's like, yeah, I'm dead now. And then falls over and you're like, oh. Right then, moving on. Just like, yep, the action scene's still going.
I was kind of hoping that he'd just kick him out of the chair.
Just gives him a nudge and it just slaps onto the floor. He's like,
steps on him.
Resurrected Jango Fett. Oh, speaking of which, because this isn't really going ahead in the plot, but you know the villain's main room? He had like a Mandalorian suit in the background. Do you notice that? Because I was like, I wonder if they're gonna bait that he's a Fett or something, and then they don't. So I was like, oh, so why would?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
just kind of weird. But yeah, most of the Marauders are literally just shot dead by Harrelson because he's just fucking
that good.
Nailing it. Yeah. And then they activate a thing that they didn't want to activate. It's like, oh no, we've set off the drone droids, and it's like, oh fuck no, and they all just pile out. But Maeve destroys like all of them immediately. It's not even that much of a threat, but then you find out that they just like keep coming essentially. But none of them get to our heroes because she's keeping them busy. And it ends with her, for some, it's really arbitrary. She just says, yeah, I'm dead now. There's nothing I can do, because there's two droids, right, that are shooting at her. She has a pistol, and she's like, I'm fucked. I'm gonna blow everything up, including myself. And it's like, why wouldn't you even try to just kill them?
Oh, I know, and she could also just try running to the opposite side where the bombers would go off. Yeah,
she could jump off, she could go under the thing, she could have done loads of things. And the thing is, before anyone's like, yeah, but if she doesn't blow it up, they can't free the train. If you pull it off and decouple it from the train that's ahead of them, you can still lift it off, you know? You don't need to blow up the bridge. That was just sort of a bonus. like a strange bonus. I'm not even sure why they needed to blow it up. If I'm perfectly honest with you, was it attached to the tracks or something?
I think like it had to be magnetized to like go around the.
But couldn't they just lift it off anyway?
Well, no, 'cause think about it. You know when it's going around all those like curvy bits where like it was literally flipping on its side and upside down.
Oh yeah, actually, good point. Okay.
That had to be magnetized because also the stormtroopers that were on it also had those boots on.
And you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to do it anyway because if you pulled up, the other part would be underneath the track, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it had to.
So she was going to blow it anyway.
It had to slide off the track for it to be lifted up. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, but so she was going to blow it no matter what. So why not just fucking try and run away to the opposite end of the track? I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I would just say I think the writers just kind of gave up on her, so they just need like.
Yeah, all they needed to do was have loads of droids instead of just 2, because 2 is really stoppable.
Because you know how it should also like be like an emotional moment because it's she's with Woody Harrelson, but it's just totally not because like he don't give a fuck. And she's just like, "Oh, sorry, babe, bye."
Yeah.
And no, yeah. Oh, I'm out cold. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, that's it.
That is the
no mention of Vera again.
That is the payoff for that scene. Is that she dies and Woody Harrelson's like, man. Actually, she might have dropped her gun because she gets shot. I can't remember if she drops the gun.
Oh yeah. No, the gun does get shot out of her hand.
So does she just not have a weapon and that's why she's pinned?
I think that actually might be it. Yeah, actually, I think I'm quite certain. Actually, she did get her gun shot out of her hand.
Yeah. So if I don't know, it just would have made more sense to just had more droids. That's all they needed to do. But apparently, she only had one pistol as well, which is kind of fucking lame. She should have done what her husband does and have like 1 million. But yeah, she dies, and it's not really. It's just meh, because we've known her for like 5 seconds. And she was a dick to Han Solo quite a bit, so. You know, it was half expected that she would be the traitor, because this whole film's set of trailers is like, someone's gonna traitor, someone's gonna do it, and then they kill everyone, so.
Through the trailers, man, there's so much. I noticed there's a lot of like shit that was cut from the trailer that wasn't in the film.
I think that's popular these days, because the Infinity War trailers were a bit different from the actual. There's a couple of scenes cut, and there's a couple of dialogue changes as well, which this film did as well. But, you know, I think that's probably a good thing to do at this point. Instead of spoiling everything in a trailer, you sort of...
No, if that's intentional.
Yeah.
I've always, like, maybe reshoots.
Oh, yeah, no, that could be it, too. $5 from Sam Albright. Haven't watched it yet. Does Chewie marry Lando? Fucking probably will in the sequel. With the whole... Yeah, we'll get to it. So, they're about to steal the thing, but then... Han figures out that if they try and steal it, then they're all gonna die. If he lets it go, they'll survive.
Yeah, and this is the what's it called again? The ore?
Oh, I mean, it's just fuel, right? Or whatever.
And a fancy name.
Oh, I don't know. Hyperfuel is what they call it in the opening.
Oh, fuck, is that...
But it has, like, yeah, it's like somethingism or whatever. It's just super rare. But yeah,
it's like that deluxe petrol you can get at stations.
So Harold Faggot is like, oh, we gotta get it no matter what. Dropping it is not a choice. And then Han Solo drops it, and then later on he's like, you don't follow orders. Then punches him, and like I got really annoyed at that scene because I was like, you'd all be dead. Shut the fuck up. And Han Solo's like, yeah, you know, I just thought it was like the best decision. He does say like sorry for punching you a little bit later on, and the whole point is that he's sad that his friends are dead, but
Yeah.
You barely knew these people, so it's just like, okay. And that's the other problem, that you know that there's a betrayer in this film, or, you know, potentially more than one, and it's like, there's only 2 characters left now.
Oh man, I know it's Woody House.
Everyone fucking knew. It's like, especially when he's like, I'm going to go now. Like, where are you going? He's like, oh, you know.
He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna leave town. I hear Stardew Valley's gonna do multiplayer update. I'm gonna check it out.
You know, you definitely gonna go. So yeah, they decide that they'll go and face the person they owe this money to, and try and get a way out of it, which is such a strange scene as well, man. Paul Bettany is the villain. I didn't think he was like bad or anything, but
stretch face, man.
I mean, that was kind of weird. His whole gimmick is that he has all these scars on his face, and they go red and go bigger when he's angry.
Yeah, stretches, man.
It's just really weird. Like I don't know. I remember watching it and waiting to see them grow whenever he gets angry, and I was just like, why is this what he does? Like, that's his thing that he gets.
Yeah, it's so useless.
And yeah, he's barely in the movie, and he's kind of intimidating at first because he's so like charming and kind, but you know that he's a horrible monster. But then he's like super incompetent at the end, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck. He's not gonna leave any lasting permanent damage to anyone, so fuck it. Yeah,
he's an idiot in the end, but we'll get to that. So they meet up with him, and he's just like, "Very nice to meet you all." And then they'll sit down, and then he's like, "Give me a reason why I shouldn't kill you." And it's like, oh, he's not nice at all. He's a bad man. Oh yeah, and obviously I've skipped over it, but he meets up with Emilia Clarke because it turns out by coincidence that she fucking works for this guy who also is employing Woody Harrelson, who happened to bump into Han on Planet War 3 years after Han it worked for the Empire. It's the stupidest coincidence ever.
Not just about that, man, but I also dislike every interaction with them too, where Han just doesn't seem to have any questions, and she's just
they wait all the way until they're on the Millennium Falcon for him to go, "So, what you been up to?" And she's like, "I don't want to talk about it." And he's like, "Okay." It's like, wow, can feel the chemistry here.
Yeah, it's like you've been separated for 3 years, and you apparently never gave up hope. And
dude, I think it's sequel bait, honestly.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm certain of it.
Do you remember? I forgot for a second the fucking scene where they introduce the place, and you've got a singer who's got this weird shit on her face, and she's just waving about. But then there's this fat toad in a jar, and it's just singing along.
It's like a fat tentacle toad thing.
And it just because you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to channel Return of the Jedi. They're trying to be like, see, we can do weird stuff too. And it's like, this is funny, mate. It's a literal pickle jar with a tentacle fat thing going. Like, why?
It's more funny, but it's more funny afterwards thinking about it than actually when you first saw it. When I first saw it, just
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, no porgs in this movie, by the way. No. The one that'll surprise people will be if there's no porgs in episode 9. That's where you should expect porgs. But
somebody asked us if how bad you guys feel for Alden Heinrichs.
It's Ehrenreich, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not sure.
Is that who played Han Solo?
Yeah.
When he in the what was he? When he in
Hail Caesar.
Yeah, he was funny as fucking that. Well, it's what
him and Ray Fiennes. That's the best. That's the only content in that film, as far as I'm concerned.
I remember, because the rest of it is just a bit of George Lucas being funny and a bit of other stuff, but it was so bizarre, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, those scenes were just funny because he's just trying to direct him, right? But because he's a star.
Yeah. What was the line? "Oh, to do so, something or something like that."
Yeah, I can't remember it, but
and he's just losing his fucking patience. It's brilliant
because he keeps pronouncing it terribly. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on board with everyone else. I don't know why the fuck they decided to hire him for Han Solo young. I don't get it. What about this guy made you think, yeah, he can do a young Han Solo?
The other thing is, I don't even necessarily think you have to like have a striking resemblance to the original actor.
Sure.
I think as long as you can channel the voice, I think is more important more than anything.
Yeah, he doesn't have the voice fucking at all.
I generally think the voice is more important, because.
Do you remember that scene where they get threatened by the Marauders, and he's like, "I click my fingers, and all of them over there, they're gonna surround you." That scene more than any other, I was like, you do not sound even like you're trying to sound like Harrison Ford. Like you just sound like generic American man. Like you have no. Do you have any? There was 3 times in the film where I felt like Donald Glover was trying to sound like Lando, but the rest of it just sounded like Donald Glover.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey baby, how you doing? That's sort of like trying to be smooth. He did that like with some lines, but the rest of it was just, you know, plain delivery. And I was just like, man, I expected him to actually, you know, give a shit and, you know, really try and nail a Lando impression, because that's like a fun role to do. But I was like, no, never mind. Anyway, Chewie like walks off and drinks a bunch of like milk, and it gets on his beard hair. I think it was supposed to be played for a joke, but once again, it's sort of just like, okay, that happened.
You just all the shit jokes. Like, why'd you put up with this?
It's better than what they did to him in The Last Jedi, where he's just a fucking taxi driver.
Like, that's what I'm on about. Oh yeah, and the comic relief of the Porgs. Yeah, so fuck off.
Because at least in this film, you got to like, you know, fucking mess people up. He did get to rip someone's arms off at one point, so it's like, oh, there you go.
It was quite weird seeing Chewbacca or Chewie move like that. Like, I don't think he's ever moved like that in any of the films.
Well, like fast.
You know? Yeah, like really articulated with the arms and legs. You know.
Mm-hmm.
He's always just kind of like shuffled along.
Yeah, it's a different Chewie, which isn't, you know, I'm okay with most of what they did with him in this film. It actually, he had a purpose. Like, I'm just thinking about how he needs to be killed because he's useless in the sequel trilogy.
Oh yeah, no, certainly, yeah.
But in this film, he's like, they actually need the muscle.
Well, they also had to have that, like him and Han. And, like, I don't really feel like they did enough with them two either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, because again, like, as you already mentioned, the whole, like, there's no real reason for Chewie like sticks around. Like, he just seems to like do it because, yeah.
So we see Emilia Clarke's got a burn, and it's like a specific shape. And then when we meet Vision,
like a cult signal.
Yeah. And when we meet Vision, he's got a ring that matches it completely. And like, I don't want to be too mean to the film, but
you just start calling him Vision.
Oh, I'm definitely calling him Vision. Fuck it.
You just did it already. It's like oh,
no, that's what I mean. I'm gonna be doing it deliberately because fucking that's who he is. You know, the camera pads in right on his scar and then pads in right on his ring, and it does feel like a moment of like, and you're like. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I would expect like a da 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 da. Like oh shit! Oh, what was that film or TV show we watched recently where like it kept cutting like there's like separate like shots or like split screen and all that with the show or with the film?
Oh, are you talking about like flashbacks constantly to remind you?
Oh, it was in the second season of Fargo, wasn't it?
Was it Fargo? Oh yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Like there's loads of needless like split shots or whatever, like in different panels and all that shit. But
yeah.
It'd be funny if like I saw that with the ring and all like doof, 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 doof,
doof. Yeah, the scene literally amounts to them basically convincing Vision that they should be allowed to get his money back, and he's like, "Okay, go, but you have to take Emilia Clarke with you." Because reasons. It's not even like she's not even. This is what I mean by timid for most of the film. It doesn't even look like she would shoot them if they said we're going. She's just kind of like there, and you know that she's not really there for any reason at all. Actually, she's just there. Does she actually do anything in the whole film aside from pretend to be a slave owner? If you remember.
I don't think so. Doesn't he call her lieutenant at one point?
Oh, and remember, she does kill someone, and the robot says something like, "Oh, wow, like, I've never seen that before." And then she's like, "Blah, blah, blah, taught me." And again, it's supposed to be like, "She has a dark past." And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's not recent. It's not like, oh, yeah, we met 2 weeks ago at Starbucks. So, yeah, it's been going great together. No, like, yeah, they are hinted, like, at her... past, like it is sequel bait again, I think, because honestly, like if you know, it could be good. I mean, like hey, who's directing the sequel? Is it the same person? Or
I mean,
same team,
I'd be more up for watching a sequel to this than the ninth episode of Star Wars, because I literally have no idea what they're going to do in the ninth episode of Star Wars.
Yeah, because at least they can take us in a different direction further again, and also like fucking actually maybe have some real character moments. Who knows?
And actually have depth like Darth Maul. They could do that. Controversial as that sounds.
Oh, but Carl, Star Wars is for kids, so like.
Why do you care about it this much? God.
Yeah. Why even bother?
Excellent reference to yourself there, Al.
Oh man, I'm probably stroking my shoulder right now.
What did that? You linked a guy on Facebook. What did he end up saying, or did he say anything?
He didn't actually say anything back. It's a pain in the ass. Actually, I should chase him up on it.
Sure.
Because he does rip on Kathleen Kennedy a lot. And I think most people ignore him, but then sometimes he makes certain posts, like he posts like conservative news and shit like that as well, or like right wing shit, and people challenge him, and then he challenges them with loads of shit, and like I'm pretty sure like he watches like Saga and all that as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's quite amusing.
Episode 9 better not be 2 parts, but you know it will be. I swear to Christ, if they actually split that into 2 films, I think that'll end badly for them, to be honest. But
Oh, sorry, dude. I need another toilet break. 1 sec.
Yeah, that's fine. They will fuck up Star Wars in the 9th one even more, Mauler. Come on. Oh, I'm sure they will. It's just that 2 parts. That would be surprising. And like I already said, I don't know where they're gonna take it. It's gonna be amusing, probably, whatever they do. Broom Boy will rule the galaxy. This is also true. While Alex is gone, I figure I'll just say once again, if you guys want to see this whole discussion we've had, because we're about probably like a third of the way through the film, I can't remember, then it'll be in my Discord once it's completed. It'll be in Watto's Junkyard, so if you want to join, there's a link in the description. And I hope you're having fun, because it is funny to go over all of the stuff in this movie, because there's a lot of stupid, but the sad fact is we're about to meet probably the worst element of this film. It's about to arrive. Has anyone actually heard anything good about the droid in this film? Has any reviewer said the droid was great in this film? Because, oof, special, to say the least. Firm Scissor Punch or Firm Scissor Fuck, which is the better name? Probably the second one, just because it sounds edgier. Firm Scissor Punch sounds like a really awkward person being like, "But that was funny, wasn't it? Please." Alex, stupid something hurdler. I'm gonna go with Nerf herder. Can confirm I'm having fun. Excellent. The droid was terrible. No, Elite Droid is thick. Droid? Is it why people paying for Disney tickets if they're protesting the debasement of Star Wars? Well, I mean, how am I going to review a film if I've not seen it? That's my question. And I don't mind giving Disney money, if you will, because my assessments of their films can not only stop other people from having to pay to understand what happened, but it also allows me to sort of create a career in film analysis, thanks to them making these films. So, like, I don't really mind. And the fact is, folks, you know, if I want to see a film, technically speaking, I should be paying the people who made it, even if it's terrible content. But I wouldn't recommend this film, by the way. It's just that I'm going to be able to make a fun video out of it, is the hope. Hello? Hello. I figure we could just jump to the part where she's like, we need a ship, and then the film just cuts to, I don't even know if it's a different planet, I'm pretty sure it must be, but it's like Yellow World, where there's a tint of yellow to everything, and that's Lando's color, I guess. And it's so rushed, because they just walk in, and then Lando is in the middle of a gambling game, and he's like built up to essentially be like, wow, he is the gambler of this place. He's going to be the best. And apparently he's established as a smuggler as well, and he used to take jobs, but I guess he's like trying to calm down. But he has the fastest ship. And they don't even give a reason for the Millennium Falcon being the fastest ship in this film, by the way. It just is.
No.
It's another one of those moments where it's like, this is an actual standardized ship, as in it like you could buy another one and it would be the same thing, but there's no well, he says there are some modifications. He said he put in an escape pod, which once again, trying to almost apologize for The Last Jedi, because do you remember when they escape pod Rey out of the Millennium Falcon and it's just like, oh, it has an escape pod? And then this film is like, yes, I installed an escape pod, and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like you didn't really need to account for that, but there we are. In fairness, they do use it later in the film. It's just that when I saw that scene, I was just like, are you saying sorry for just putting it in randomly in The Last Jedi? I don't know. So yeah, Han Solo is like, I'ma play him in cards and win a ship, and Emilia Clarke is just like, how are you gonna do that? And he's like, trust me. And it's like, okay. And he just kicks ass completely until it comes down to like the final hand, and Lando beats Han, and Han is like confused. And the part that got me when I was watching this, I was just like, why were you so good at this? And why are you like, you're confused that you lost, when I assumed this was like a game of chance or whatever, but apparently not. I have no idea how this card game works, by the way. It's literally just cards with symbols on them and they put them down, and then the film is like, he won, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I think it was sabak is what they call it. $5 from Kenrick. Have you seen the China sales numbers? $112,000 for opening day ticket sales. What was the opening day ticket sales for The Last Jedi? Also, isn't this the opening day? They wouldn't have all those numbers by now, would they? Unless it was yesterday for China, I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been when it released.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lando cheats is what they establish in this scene as well. They show him pocketing a card, and you're like, ooh. He's got like a little device where he can just spawn a card. I don't know how he gets away with that when there's literally, like, you remember it, right? People are crowded around the table. So, like, if you were to pull a card from your sleeve, I'm pretty sure anyone standing near you would be like, what are you doing? And that would be that. But apparently Lando gets away with it. And this is the thing. That explains why Lando wins these games. Like, oh, so he's not just good at the thing, he also cheats. And you're like, okay, fair enough. It's like, why is Han Solo good at this? Well, he used to steal speeders. So, that's like gambling. So Han Solo loses and thus owes Lando everything, including a ship. You're gonna have to remind me of what happens in the film, because they go from there to Lando joining them on the mission.
Nothing. They skip it. When Han and Chewie get onto the ship, they have that moment where they're standing on the bridge or outside of it talking, and then immediately on the mission. Because
you have Woody Harrelson being like, oh, you can only have 25%, and then he's like, no, 40%, and I was just like, wait, you're gonna, instead of pushing them to get your ship and all this money you just won, you're now gonna say, hey, forget the ship, I'll come with you for this mission if you give me 20% of the take. And the reason I have a problem with that is, first of all, that must be a hell of a lot of money in this mission to make you not care about the money you just won. You must be in a position where you just don't mind taking massive risks, because he understands that the plan is to go to the spice mines of Kessel and basically just fuck up the whole hierarchy there and steal a bunch of unrefined fuel and then immediately take it to some planet and get it refined, but the way there and back is through this like monstrous fucking space storm that has a giant kraken that lives in it. And I don't even know. It just seems like a really convoluted way to get money when he was standing on quite a lot of money already. So strange. Also, wow, yeah, that's The Last Jedi opening day was way better, apparently. Well, I say way better, that's 5 times? Just under 5 times? Anyway, and I don't know if you got the vibe as well, Al, but like I think I said it in the cinema, but I was just like, why is there fucking robot wars in this film? They've got literal droids that just bang into each other and everyone's surrounding it like, yes! You know what it made me think of was X-Men 1, when we meet Wolverine, who's having like a a proper
Cage
like
match.
yeah. But now we have, and they're not even, the droids are literal, like they look like a fridge and a table, but metal. And it's awkward because they're just banging into each other, and everyone's like, yes, oh my god, yeah. And it's just like, why is this the sport? Why is the sport droids battling each other to the death? And I know you could be like, well, we do it. Robot Wars, and what is it called in America? It's like, it's something else. It's not Robot Wars, but it's fucking bizarre, and it's the way they introduce the best character in the film. Because she is an... I don't even know, like, because I usually want to keep politics out of my videos, but like, how can you get around calling her SJW?
I know. She's a robot, so it's not misogyny. Trust us.
Trust us. She talks about droid rights, not female rights. It's okay. Oh yeah, battle bots is what they call it in America.
Or not any other minorities, including women who are also minorities.
So her opening scene is her railing against this droid battle, saying it's inhumane and that you shouldn't fight each other because that's what they want you to do, quote unquote. And you're just like, you get this immediate sense of like, what the hell is wrong with the droids in this universe? It's
well, mate, it's like all of a sudden it's like, shit, have I just walked into Django Unchained?
Yeah, not even like it's.
She's fucking, what's his name? Jamie Price, or what's his name? Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
She's Jamie Foxx's character.
She's just like, stop doing what they want you to do, and it's just like, hang on. You're so lost. I was like, it was the one thing I wasn't looking forward to in the film, and it was exactly what I was expecting it to be. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to a particular scene involving her, though, namely the last.
I know. Well, the thing is with the droids is that all throughout Star Wars, you always just think that like they got like a programmed AI and they're just obedient for the most part. I know like R2D2 like talks sass when he swears all the time, but like only C-3PO understands him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
and also C-3PO talks like a butler. But like all of a sudden in this film, all the droids are apparently under a fucking like a ROM hack thing or on the like you attach to them, and it's like programmed to obey evil people.
Yeah.
And when you pop it off like a fridge magnet, all of a sudden the droids have like they have free will again. It's like,
droids aren't people. This film is arguing. I mean, honestly, like I'm not even trying to be hyperbolic here. I think the film is arguing that all droids have humanity, like installed.
Yeah, it's like things from Soma, but like not at all. Because why the fuck is this happening in this film?
And you know what's weird? She's like banging against the thing, and then the fucking like the keeper of this droid battle, this like short, stocky dude with like old man hair is like, "Hey, stop doing that!" And then the droid is like, he says like, "Come in here and say that," or something. Then she's like, "I'll fight you," and then he comes out of the thing, and it's supposed like, why would you try and fight a droid when it's like twice your size and it clearly has like she's very motionful, you know? She's not restricted. She's practically just a person. So like it immediately grabs his face and rams it against a wall, and it's like, yeah, you're losing that fight. And then Lando's like, leave, let's go. And it's just like, okay. And then comes all of the cringy dialogue where she just says something after something after something about how her life sucks, everyone is cruel to droids, but she kind of likes Lando and she's a dick to everyone. And the only way I can assess it is they wanted to recreate K2SO. I'm not even going to say R2D2 or C-3PO, it's K2SO, you can tell. And that's a Disney creation, so that's the interesting thing here. It's like the one thing they did right. They're like, oh, we should do it again. And they went with the gimmick of, instead of melodramatic or, you know, literal about everything, or annoying and inquisitive about stats, or cute, her gimmick is literally that she's sentient and appreciates that droids are human, basically, and deserve rights. Do you remember the bit where she's supposed to cut open a grate and she's like, I can't do it if you're looking?
Yeah.
One for one copied from Wheatley.
Yeah, she's fucking...
And like, it's another one of those jokes where it's not that I think these jokes are bad, they're just meh. I'm just sitting there like, oh, that just doesn't even make me smirk.
Yeah. It doesn't really. It's not much of a coherent character with her. She's just a fucking like. She's an activist.
I mean, dude, she would fit into Soma. She's a droid that is convinced she's fucking like human.
And when she starts talking like about the sex shit with Emilia Clarke, and she's like,
Ugh.
"Oh, loving fucking Lando," like, "Oh yeah," which ironically, actually it's not ironic, but funny enough, is also baiting before the last scene of her in it.
Oh yeah, oh dude, it's so everything about L3. If I'm gonna be respectful, what am I gonna call this droid in my video?
Fembot.
I was thinking of some of the lines of like, you know, K2SO botched clone, but then I was like, that's way too long. So Fembot might work, yeah. Femputer I might go with, because you remember that episode of Futurama, right? We watched it. It was one of the last ones we watched recently. It's where they go to that planet of Amazonians and they're ruled by the Femputer, who's a fembot inside the Femputer, and Bender ends up like fucking Femputer. I'm gonna have to watch that episode again and see what I can reference for this. It's perfect. But yeah, L3 is really annoying. I can't remember every line of dialogue, but I'll remember the important ones. They get onto the Falcon, and it's so easy. They're just like, Lando, you won everything from us. Come on this dangerous mission? Okay. It's like, okay. And the whole time the Marauders have been following them, which, by the way, they put a tracker on their ship. I was like, good job, film. You made up again for The Last Jedi with its stupid non-origin trackers, you know, where it's just like, we just track you through everything and everything the second we see you. And then they have that convoluted nonsense where it's like, oh yeah, there's a tracker on every single Star Destroyer, and you have to turn one off, but you have to do it in a way that isn't like a destruction, because otherwise they'll reset the system and it'll go around in 7 minutes, and then they'll have another tracker to be able to track. And it's just like, can you stop? Just stop. Just fucking stop. In this film, they're like, yeah, they put a tracker on the ship, and that's how they're tracking them. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's what they did several times in this fucking universe, so let's go with that. Because that's the thing, the whole plot in The Last Jedi is based on that. So I just feel like it's them being like, we're not doing it again, guys. We're doing it the proper way this time. What did you think about the whole, she's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do that thing for me later, and Lando's like, oh, okay. Hello? Alex, did you die? Well, this is awkward. Hello?
Hello?
Oh. Did you, like, die? Hello? Press F to pay respects.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. It's the mic cable plugged in on right now.
What's wrong?
Hello. I think I just like knocked it a little bit and like it's just like disconnected. I think it's okay now. I'm just gonna put it back on the table properly.
Do you hear what I said about the line? It's actually one I knew about, but I was just wondering if you thought.
Yeah. The line about thing for her later.
Well, it's just So, do you think that that's like a reference to the fact that they do sex stuff?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, Lando fucks that. Well, Lando's reaction suggests sex with her.
Well, it suggests that it's an awkward thing that he doesn't like to do. It sounds like a human asking you, "Can you wipe my ass later?" And it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll do it. Or empty my urine bag or something. It's like, why?
Suck my pee.
And the other thing as well is that Lando has a bunch of lines to establish that this droid is special. This droid is amazing. This droid has the best navigational system. He would never wipe her because he just appreciates everything about her.
She has the most updated version of Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a lame excuse to make her special. It's literally just code on a fucking chip. Why is it that she's got the best navigational system? It's like, what in the world makes that a thing? Anyway, she has to pilot with Lando because those two are the pilots. That's their team. What I'm trying to say right now is that the film is like, Lando cares about L3, okay? He really cares about her. They didn't do this recently where they had Harrelson Ford, Woody Harrelson care about his apparent wife, and then she died in the next scene. So I'm not saying we're about to get an echo of that or anything.
Absolutely.
Then we get a scene of Chewie getting frustrated because he loses in a chess game to, well, the chess, I don't even know what you call it, like, it's the chess game that has been referenced in a couple of Star Wars films since Episode 4 with the puppets on the board thing.
Yeah.
Or clay monsters, I don't even know what they are. But there's a very telling moment where Chewie's like, bruh, I can't believe I lost. And then he's like, well, that's the thing, Chewie. To beat your enemies, you've got to stay several steps ahead of them. And it's like, oh. Like, okay. And then it moves on. You're just like, And the reason why it wouldn't be as bad if not for the fact that he fucking says that line at the end of the film to reference that that's how he knew he was a bad guy. And it's like, yeah, film, we got that too. Like, you made it really obvious. And like, you made it so obvious the in-world characters fucking noticed it. It's like, whoops. And then we get the only scene you could argue is like trying to develop the characters. You got Han and Daenerys are like, let's totally hook back up, and then she like does, and then she's like, also I have a really dark history, and he's like, I don't care what you did, but that's a common motif of this film. They keep saying it. Like, she has a really dark history. We don't know what she did, but she has a really dark... It's going to be killing younglings again, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always the younglings.
She really likes sacrificing younglings, the bitch.
But, it's really weird, because, like, Woody Harrelson just walks up to them, and he's like, am I interrupting something? And then Han is like, ah. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, they're currently driving through hyperspace. What is it that you need him for? Did you walk up to them just to go, stop it? Like... I don't like kissing.
Stop cock blocking me.
Poor guy. His wife died recently. Anyway, they then I don't remember anything significant happening before they just get to the ship. Oh, he does do the whole I'm trying to help you, don't trust anyone here thing.
Yeah.
Which again is just like, dude, we know that Chewie's not going to betray him. They should have made Chewie betray him in this film, I think. And that it could have been like, you know, the rocky start to their relationship, because at least we wouldn't see that coming. But like, it's so obviously gonna be Harold. He just keeps saying it. He's just like, people betray you, people betray you, people betray you. Also, stay ahead of your people you're gonna betray. Because that's...
Aha! I told you so.
Dun dun. Because the only other person it could be is the girlfriend, and it turns out it's her as well. So it's just like, oh.
It could have been Lando. Yeah.
I think that it would be a mistake to make Lando betray him twice, because it'd just be like, oh right, I guess that makes sense because he did it before, and it's not going to be the droid, though it could have been in this film considering the sentience. So then we get that setup scene where they're like, we're going through this massive area that is like the perfect thing to have fights in because it'll be epic and it looks amazing. Also, there are planets crashing together, gravity wells, and there's horrible space monsters in this place. This place here, all this stuff is here. Also, we're leaving it now, so
nasty stuff, nasty people.
No reason that we're mentioning all of this, but maybe this will be relevant later. It's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, and then they have that scene where Daenerys and L3 have some lady talk, and it's pretty awkward.
Oh yeah. I love Lando's junk.
So, for anybody who doesn't know, L3 says, Han Solo's in love with you, and I know because I can see it in Lando. Lando loves me, but we can't be together.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there thinking like, okay, movie, are you saying that he actually does? And that she's repelled his advances? Or are you saying that she's convinced he does? Because, you know, the last scene with L3 would tell you that he actually does, right? And the fact that the director has announced that Lando is pansexual, implying that he's okay with dating droids. So you're just like, Did we need this? That's my question.
This will improve my wank life so much.
It is as odd as it sounds, and I just don't get it. And yeah, she's like, L3 is like, let's have a conversation, girl to girl, and it's like, you're a droid. You're made of metal and wires. This is not the time for this. Like, that would be perfect in something like Soma or Blade Runner, where you're like trying to argue that you have humanity. But we've always known droids come off an assembly line, for fuck's sake. Like, why are you trying so hard to make this a thing where it's just odd. It's really odd. But the whole point of it is to once again set up that something tragic's going to be happening soon with L3. Anyway,
yeah.
So the plan in Kessel is to land at the mines and to put Chewie and Han in binds, and then argue that they're prisoners to be sold in the space mines so that they could be used, and in exchange they just want some credits or whatever. The plan is to get up to the control room with Daenerys and L3 and Woody Harrelson. Yeah. So they can basically like breach all of security, and then Han and Chewie are supposed to go steal the unrefined fuel so they can then take it away. There's a lot in this plan that's just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's how that works. Because the fact that they're able to even go there with any like, they're accepted, and she manages to get through them, even though it just kind of comes across. Does she argue that she's working for Voss, or does she just say that she's just like, I don't know, I'm just here, I have prisoners?
No, that's why she does say the I am part of the Crimson thing, Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, it's not. I did have to watch it again to know if I have any problems with it, but it definitely felt like, don't think too much about this. Let's just go.
I was going to ask also, do you want to call Woody Harrelson Rampart?
I actually do. That's one of the thoughts I had, but I was like, I don't know how much of my audience uses Reddit, so I don't know if they'd get that. Because the thing is, I called what's his name, the guy from Black Panther who's also in Creed. I called him Creed in that video, and a lot of people were like, "Why does he keep calling him Creed?" I was like, "Because he's in Creed." Isn't that obvious? So, how many people in chat would understand if I called Woody Harrelson Rampart for my video? I am curious.
They'd have to look it up.
Well. Yeah, that's true. It does work either way. I'm just curious, out of this selection of people, how many understand the reference of Rampart. But
it's like episode trivia. Somebody's gonna put it in a wiki or something.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't even like Reddit.
I don't blame them.
Nope, I wouldn't. Not me. From what? Nope. Nah. From the AMA. Yes. Nope. Yes. Nope. 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 Wow.
You live on a rock, people. Please
only ask me about Rampart. I think, you know what? Just for the meme, I think I'm going to call him Rampart. Anyway, so they get through, but then they're like, hey, Woody Harrelson, you're not allowed to come into the room where we discuss payment because whatever. And he's just like, okay. And there's a lot of guards. But then it's a ruse, and Woody Harrelson is able to take out the entire security room because he's that good with his double pistols, even though they have guns trained on him at the time. It's just like, he throws his spear at them, that distracts them, and then he just nukes everyone in the room, and you're just like, okay. Meanwhile, Han and Chewie knock out the two people they're in an elevator with, and like I said, Chewie rips off the dude's arms, which is, you know...
iconic.
I would probably argue that it's like the film being like, see, Chewie did a thing. It's not like The Last Jedi where he just lethargically sits around doing nothing. It's like, oh, okay. you got him to do what is essentially the only thing he fucking can do. And yeah, there's this moment where like the enemy boss is killed off screen by Daenerys, and we don't know how, but it's made out to be pretty graphic, I guess, because the droid is like, oh. And it's supposed to be a part of her dark past, but who the fuck cares? And then we come to a very fucking confusing part of this film. L3 starts to knock off the restraining bolts of all of the droids. Now, the restraining bolts were established in Return of the Jedi. It's when they're captured by Jabba, and the droid that's putting through the droids through processing says like, apply a restraining bolt to C-3PO. I don't know what it... I honestly can't remember what it does, or what it's supposed to do. But L3 realizes that all these droids have restraining bolts, and so she starts removing them. And then she like tells a droid, looks at her like, "What the fuck?" And then she's like, "Oh, I don't know what you should do. Go and release your brothers." And then the droid is like, "Okay," and starts waddling off. And you're like, "Okay." Like, you don't really think too much of it. You're just like, a funny joke. You release them from the restraining bolt, and there you go. Oh, I won't be calling Han Solo in this film. I don't think he's going to get that kind of respect. Also, did you have a problem, dude, with the fact that they could release all prisoners by moving a lever and pressing a button? That's all it takes to just automatically remove every single restraint on all prisoners.
Oh yeah, it's an amazing safety feature.
It's like, wow, you don't even need approval. You just pull a lever, press a button. It's like, excellent stuff. And yeah, so all the slaves run rampant, basically. And that's another thing I don't get about this, is that apparently the security is, like, good enough to outlast, almost, the amount of escaped prisoners, even though all of them only have tasers. And, like, everyone is, you know, close combat. So you'd think that they'd get overrun, like, immediately, but they don't. There's, like, a really decent chunk of them still effective all the way till they leave the planet.
Oh, they do have blasters at the end.
At the end, yeah. I suppose.
But, yeah, the guards at the start like seem to have just the taser guns or the taser swords.
They have like a spawn point that they just keep coming out of, so it's just like, yeah, okay. Pan Solo, Semi Solo. Oh, I think I want to call him Ranger Solo. You know what that is, right?
No, I'm missing.
So the release in China hates Star Wars, so they've renamed it from Solo: A Star Wars Story to Ranger Solo. Isn't it the most like, why? Maul has never seen A New Hope, apparently. Oh, sorry, of course. Yeah, the restraining bolts are in A New Hope as well. My bad. I just remember the scene because it's very specific in my head of the droids getting tortured and then given restraining bolts. Also, the fact that they never put a restraining bolt on R2-D2, which is what many call a kind of a plot hole, because it allows R2-D2 to, you know, launch the saber. It's like, why didn't they put a restraining bolt on him? But whatever. Ranger Silo. I'm not doing the soy joke. That's way too obvious. Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I think I'll go with Ranger Solo and then maybe Ranger. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But that's definitely a strong meme. Anyway, so everything starts working. They're overthrown. And then Chewie breaks off from Han because he wants to go and save a bunch of Wookiees. Which
yeah.
What I didn't get about it, right, is that the Wookiees are being sort of tased, but there's like 4 Wookiees or something, and like 3 taser people, and I'm just sitting there like, everyone's just gotten released. Couldn't the Wookiees just? You'd think one of them would rage out and just overpower, you know, pick one up even though it's tased and just throw them, and especially with how powerful they make Chewie out to be.
Yeah, I think it's like the female ones or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of strange in terms of like, were they like in love? I don't know. Chewie saves a bunch of Wookiees is the point, and Han goes on his own, and he gets the fuel, and to get their part out of the way, Chewie meets back up with him. All the Wookiees help them push the fuel to the ship, and they're sorting that out. Meanwhile, all of the droids in the control room have gone like insane. All of their restraining bolts have been removed, and it's turned them into maniacs. They're like running around, jumping up and down, pressing all of the buttons. One of them is walking across a control panel, and L3 is like, I've created a revolution, freedom for all of our brothers. And it's the most like I couldn't help but think of Futurama, because there's so many different episodes that do that stupid shit, because Bender's whole joke is that robots are better than people. So like, there's just so many references, because there was one for The Last Jedi, you know, with the droids. They have like slaves to pick up and clean things instead of droids, which would make more sense in this universe. But now, like, the droids are humanized, so you just whatever. But yeah, the point is that droids, you think that they're created because they're tools, right? So you're like, you create an R2-D2 or R2 unit, whatever, because it's an astromech. It's supposed to fit right in with an X-wing and repair it, and you're just like, or maintain whatever and work to be navigational, and you're just like, that makes sense. Then you have these other droids that are just supposed to do other things, and la la la. And then you're like, oh, restraining bolt. The reason that they have these is in case the droid belongs to, like, Luke Skywalker and you capture it, and so the restraining bolt prevents it from doing anything that's menial tasks. And you're like, oh, okay, so it can't betray its master at that point, I think is the point of a restraining bolt. And then in this film, it's like a bunch of insane asylum prisoners being released once they get the bolts off.
Yeah. This is
And
fucking...
it's insane, and I have no fucking idea what the hell the film is trying to portray with that. Like, you know, when they release all of the actual, like, people, the slaves, if you will, one of them, the one that does it says "freedom for all" or something like that, because he's supposed to be, he's not quite, I don't think he's like a protocol droid, but he's close to it. He's one of those other ones, I don't know. But it's just odd, because you just hear him say that, you're just like, are all droids, like, if they're not given restraining bolts, are they just people? Is that all this is?
Yeah, like unless like they've been custom made like by Anakin or something like that in a workshop where you can program your own AI.
Yeah.
They're all just programmed to be slaves in their own little like emotional states.
Oh, that's something I completely forgot, by the way. A little bit earlier on, you remember when they're planning to do the original train job?
Yeah.
Do you remember when she's like, "Why did you hire these guys? We could have contacted," and she says some random name, and then she says Bosk. I'm not sure 100% if you know who Bosk is, but
can't remember. But yeah,
he's, you know the lineup of bounty hunters. It's got like Jango Fett, IG-88 or IG-88, sorry, and Bosk is one of them. He's like the dinosaur reptile man.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I was just like, oh, there's so many references in this film. It's a serious problem. Like they can't resist basically being like, you know, Tatooine? Yeah, that's a planet. You remember you remember all these other things?
Everything revolves around all these people and in all the galaxies and in all of the galaxy, you know.
They mentioned Scarif, which is the planet from Rogue One, where everything happens at the end. They mention I want to say Felucia. That's another planet from the prequels. They mention so much stuff. And it really feels pandery, because it's just like, come on guys, this is a huge galaxy. Does everything revolve around the only planets we've already seen?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're coming to my favorite part of the film. Everyone's like trying to get the fuel canisters onto the Millennium Falcon, and there's just drama because people are getting shot, la la la's happening. But in the meantime, L3 is just chanting and shouting about how this is amazing and this is the best job they've ever done because she's fighting for robo rights, whatever. And it's like everything is going okay, everything is actually working out. But then there's these evil dudes setting up, you know, like mounted gun turrets and getting guns out, and it's like, oh no, there's guns, guys. And then it shows L3, who's like, I'm coming back, people. And then she gets shot a whole bunch of times and falls over. And I may be over exaggerating, but you know, like the horrible music plays, the heartfelt music, and it slows down. And Lando's like, no, and like does a bunch of shit, like sliding under things and jumping over them, forward rolling to get to her. And she's like, I'm sorry, I have to ask how you felt about this scene, Al, but you know when it cuts away, then it comes back, and he tries to pick her up, and she fucking falls in two pieces? I thought it was so funny, because I was like, you just fucking killed him, mate.
It's just like, what happened to my legs? What happened to my legs? Yeah, take this morphine.
Because he's like, L3, you okay? Picks her up, and she just goes, he's like, oh, fuck.
It's like why can you be like, I'll shut you down, I'll reboot reboot you when you're back up.
This is the thing, man. Can't you just take a fucking chip out, a memory card or whatever? It's a droid, for Christ's sake.
Well, he puts it in the fucking ship.
Well, I was gonna say we're going. That's actually a little bit too far ahead, because I was gonna say that's dumb as shit, but we'll get there. It's just that Chewie holds Lando while he holds half of L3's body, and takes them all back to the Falcon. Everyone gets on, they escape. That's the end of that. And it's just kind of like, who gives a shit? And I have to say, like, almost one-for-one flashbacks. Her death is just like K2SO's, where it's like the head falls, and then all the lights dim, and I know it couldn't have been this way because it's just not possible, or at least I don't think it could be possible. They are both made by Disney. But did you get any Spider-Man vibes for when she dies?
Spider-Man vibes.
She says something like, "What's happening to me, Lando? What's happening?" And I was just thinking to myself, like, this is kind of like the whole "I don't want to go" lines from.
Oh, like that.
It was really cheap. Basically, like, they drag them in, everything's over, but Lando's holding half of the droid while she's shaking and saying, like, a bunch of dead person things. And then she says, like, "Lando, what's happening?" And then the lights dim and she dies. And he's, like, he's shouting her name. And it's the most, like, what the fuck are you doing, film? Do you know why K2SO's death was really good? Was, they basically say, you need to stay here, and you're going to need to navigate to get us this piece of information. And he locks the door on them, and they go, "What are you doing?" And he's like, you're going to need the locked door because there's going to be people coming. Basically saying, I'm probably going to get destroyed to make this happen, but, you know, whatever. And then they're like, yeah, okay. And the most emotion you get out of Cassian Andor, I think is his name in Rogue One, he's just, like, kind of sad. He calls for K2SO's name, like, in a way that's like, respond, hello. And it's just like, he says, get the hell out of there, and dies. And then he's just, like, kind of sad, and they move on. Lando is giving the performance of, like, his son dying. And it's kind of bizarre. It's like watching it, you're just like, why did you care that much? It's a fucking hunk of metal. And I know that sounds kind of ironic coming from me, because I talk all the time about how humanity can be gained from, like, droids and shit easily with good writing, like WALL-E, for example. They didn't do that with this film, and this universe is not quite that way, I would argue. They are tools, and they have an inkling of personality, but in this, they're making it out to be like it's a human personality trapped in a metal body.
Yeah, probably fucking, like, dark fucking depiction.
Yeah, and it's just really confusing to watch, because you're just like, oh, that was sad, I guess. But Lando gets over it immediately, so it's fine. And the scene carries on, because we're about to get into an action sequence, which, by the way, this film was quite dense with stuff happening. This is why I wouldn't go as far as saying boring. It's not like I'm trying to compliment the film by saying it's not boring. I'm just saying that every scene's got, like, stuff to absorb.
Yeah, something is always happening.
Like explosions, characters going, "Brah!" People dying. You don't get a moment where you just go like, "Ugh, get on with it." As far as I was concerned, anyway, this is just.
Oh no, yeah, I'll give this credit. Like, the pacing, I think, was pretty, like, solid. I think.
I mean, I feel like everyone's going to be different on that one. I've already heard people complain about the pacing, so I didn't find it that bad.
I thought beat for beat it was flowing quite well.
I'd agree with that.
Like it never hung on to. Like, some things were a bit, like, too quickly, like, as you said, like, you know, how, like, quickly they pan over, like, an assortment of aliens, like, that must have cost loads of time and money.
Yeah.
Like, they could have focused more on that, like, you know, for more seconds, more minutes, whatever. But I think there's a appropriate amount of time dedicated to everything.
It's so dead. I love that fucking quote. Yeah. So anyway, they go back to the big scary storm in space. And for some reason, there's literally a Star Destroyer inside it. And I didn't get time to really absorb that, but I was just like, why? Were the Empire planning on chasing? Did somebody, like, alert the Empire? Why is there a Star Destroyer? And it looks like it actually takes up all of the space in that little tunnel. And the question I have for that is, like, isn't that dangerous? They just established if you go outside the tunnel, you're pretty much just dead, because there's no way to navigate. And then Han is like, don't worry, guys. And he just flies out of the tunnel into this shit. And he's just like, I'm a really good pilot. It'll be fine. And it's just like, okay, how is this just a matter of you being a good pilot and that's it? Like, and since when were you this good that you can just survive what they basically said was an insta-death area? And guess what happens, folks? All the TIE fighters chase them in and start getting destroyed by all of the debris that Han Solo somehow avoids because he's just the best pilot in the world. And it's like,
then he pulls off that stick move with Chewie.
Oh, right. That didn't make a lot of sense to me, by the way. I think... Oh, the only other thing that happens is Harrison Ford's on the... Harrelson's on the gunner, and then it gets blown off, and I was just like... This is eerily similar to, like, Force Awakens, where they're using the gunner and it gets jabbed. It's like... That gunner's unfortunate. It often gets, like, damaged, even though it's just this tiny part of the ship.
Oh yeah, and his thumbs hurt. I laughed at that.
There you go. There was at least one funny that got him.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson was just like, oh, the gun's blown up and my thumbs hurt.
So yeah, then they're like worried because there's still a TIE fighter chasing them that none of them can get rid of. And so Han is like, I'm gonna do a move that my friend used to do all the time until he died because of doing this move. And you're like, okay. The move is pulling down your landing gear and dragging it on the floor until it brings up enough of the debris from the floor that it flies into the person who's behind you, fucking up their windshield or whatever and making them crash. And it is the most, like, it damages the ever-loving crap out of the Millennium Falcon, and they only manage to just make it out alive, and that's the whole point of it. But I was just like, what a ridiculously damaging move to do when you've already destroyed like 4 TIE fighters just by driving around in this area. It's like, let's crash the Millennium Falcon down on purpose into the floor to hopefully take out this TIE fighter. I don't know, I just didn't get it. I was just like, that's just like the stupidest move. You could have done anything else. Like,
did they have the hyper fuel by then as well?
Yeah.
Will the hyper fuel blow up like if it got like shaken that much?
Apparently not.
Like when Han was like handling it, like you drop, you shot a brick. So surely doing that would have exploded. Ah, fuck, whatever.
Also, Pancakes, he does actually do a spin. Han spins the ship and it hits a TIE fighter, so spinning is a good trick, actually. So yeah, anyway, the plan then becomes to plug L3's memory into the Millennium Falcon to be able to give the Millennium Falcon, like, expert navigation.
Oh man, they plugged the CPU into it, and I was like, oh.
And there's this cringy-ass line where Lando, because it's successful, and then Lando goes, she's a part of the ship now. It's like... So if you guys were wondering, yes, the Millennium Falcon now has a character, and it is the robot that was so lovingly considered SJW.
We never got like a Knight Rider scene, you know.
Yeah, but anyway, all the way through the OT and every film coming, L3 is in all of these films now. She canonically, L3 has been there the whole time.
She's just silently masturbating in the background.
So yeah, they do a thing. Oh, of course, they bump into the Kraken. I completely forgot. There's this enormous space monster with 1 million eyes. They bump into it, it has tentacles and shit. And it's just like, okay, you know, why not? And then they evade it, but to evade it, they end up near a gravity well with this thing chasing them. So Han Solo comes up with the plan of boosting out the escape pod, and then that creature decides to chase that instead of them, even though it's tiny by comparison, and this whole thing is based on vision, I'm assuming, because it's got eyes. But yeah, that was enough to distract it. And so it gets sucked into the gravity well. And did you see that they rip its skin off first?
Yeah,
I thought that was an odd choice. I was like, that's arguably graphic. It's all of its skin gets torn off, and it's just a giant skeleton getting pulled into the gravity well. And you're just like, okay then. And you don't even get it, because it's like, why is there a giant kraken living next to a gravity well? Why would it be there? Wouldn't it be far away from that? Because it kills it. I don't fucking understand anything about this area.
It flies over slightly off course.
It literally just dies because it was chasing a random piece of debris, and it's like, how do you not know to avoid this place, you idiot fish thing? But whatever, they plug in one of the hyperdrive fuel things into the Millennium Falcon, and it boosts off. And I actually thought, by the way, that if they had modded it to the point where they put that shit into the Falcon, and it like permanently made it faster than most ships, I would have been like, oh, that's a good reason to make the Falcon faster. But it's like, no, the Falcon's already the fastest ship before any of this happens. And you're just like, why? Why not? Like, okay. And I'll be honest though, didn't that kind of feel like the finale scene, that whole space bit? Like it
Yeah.
was like a finale for a Space Wars film, if you will. But like we got to do all the villain shit still, so everyone's like, "Oh, thank God we made it." And then Lando's like upset because this hasn't been exactly a profitable fucking venture. Which again, I don't know what he expected, considering how dangerous this job was.
The ship is absolutely trashed.
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon is like in pieces essentially. And Han Solo's like, "Haha, we're fine." And then Lando's like, "I hate you. I never want to see you again. I'll be waiting for my cut of the payment." And it's like, maybe they're setting up that those two are going to have another film to get closer, because I don't fucking know. Whatever. I don't care really. But they need to refine the fuel. Did you ever get confused by this? They've got all this raw fuel. They need to get it refined. So they come to this, what is essentially like third world country village, and they immediately plug them in.
Yeah, it's the only fucking place that can do it.
Like,
I know.
The reason I find this weird is because it's like the equivalent of taking raw diamonds to an African village until they can refine it into something sellable, and then you take it away from this African village. You'd be like, why are they the people that do this? Why would they not be rich?
Yeah.
If they're the ones that can actually create value from raw materials? Like, that sounds incredibly profitable. And I think they try and account for it later. They say that this is the village that mercenaries kept coming to steal their resources until they'd cut out all their tongues and then left. So I'm assuming that all this gear is just left over, is kind of what the film is trying to say.
Yeah, I think so.
But again, I just don't see how these people would be suffering this badly if they have that. Like, surely many people come here to get this done because it's like a black market refinery. So how do they not make money?
It's bizarre. I need another toilet break. One sec, man.
Alright. FYI, Solo made only 120k in China's opening night. Yeah, I know, a lot of people have said that. And yes, we're actually pretty close to coming to the end. There's only a few significant things to talk about. Then we can do a bit of a summary and possibly a answering questions or not. But we are getting a little bit late. Like, I can stay up, but Alex has work tomorrow, I'd imagine. Surprising how long this takes. How long have we been streaming for? 2 hours and 16 minutes, which is longer than the film, I think. But you know me. It takes much longer to sum up the film than. What do you guys think so far of what I've told you? Do you think it sounds like awful, or? Because I was going to point out as well, 678 people watching. That's the biggest stream I've ever had. I guess you guys really... I think I'm right in saying that my channel probably likes Star Wars content the most, is probably the assessment. But I will be working day in, day out until we get to... I think it will be next Friday is probably when I'm going to want to release it, so I will make sure that I get a video done by then. It's going to be fun to start writing it as soon as possible. I'm glad you watched it for us. Something that would be funny to watch, but not something I'd want to pay money for. I honestly wouldn't recommend it. It's really, really average, this film. Like, it felt like just going to watch some random film. Nothing adventurous, special, and epic about it. Like, I suppose maybe it's not even possible at this point to have that, because it just feels like they're forever chasing the OT in a way. Solo is the most expensive Star Wars movie to date. Oh god, that's not good. We have an Unbridled Rage or Joy video. Oh, Rage. Have you guys heard about all of the things that we can talk about in a Rage video here? Like, this film is littered with things to talk about. Do you think Han Solo and Kira devalues Han and Leia as a couple? I always thought that Han was a womanizer. I figured that Han was with multiple women before he got with Leia, so I'm not too bothered by that. But it depends how the story ends. I'm assuming they're baiting the relationship because this is going to be the trilogy of Han Solo. It's going to end with him killing her, probably. That'll be after you talk to Jeff from World Class Bullshitters. I'll talk to him the moment that he wants me to, because I think he's going to despise this film, to be perfectly honest. And I wouldn't blame him. But yeah, if anyone's new to this right now, in the description you'll find an invite to the Discord, which will take you to my Discord, which is all Star Wars themed, by the way, so you probably enjoy it for that at least. But there's a channel called Watto's Junkyard, and that's where this is going to be placed once it's finished. I imagine it'll be 3 hours total, but we've been going through the entire plot, basically. And we're coming to the end. There's not a huge amount of failures left. But of what's left, there's plenty to talk about it, I suppose. There's just one introduction of a character that I really want to get to, because it's just so funny to me that it happened. And most of you know about it anyway. Better than The Last Jedi, though. Yes, I would say it's better than The Last Jedi as filmmaking. That's a genuine thing I would say about it. When the droid died, did Lando try taking her batteries out and blowing on them? Also, why they download the droid into the Falcon? Technically, they downloaded plot armor. Yes, it's gonna argue that the Falcon has like the best navigational computer in history, I guess, now. Because she did. And honestly, yeah, man, I don't see how L3 powering down makes it so that she's just dead, you know? Solo costs... oh god, he'll go nuts for sure. How do you feel about the possible Obi-Wan movie? It depends if they have Ewan McGregor. If they do, I'm willing to give it a chance. If they don't, I would expect it to be terrible. But we shall see. Star Wars movie ranking. Favorite is Empire. Closely followed probably by like Return of the Jedi and A New Hope. I love them both. And then you get to like Revenge of the Sith, and it gets complicated from that point. We'll just carry on with this. Hey dude, you alright? You have a walk around?
Yeah, I'm a bit more refreshed now.
So the Marauders show up at this refinery and basically say that they are trying to start the rebellion, and that they'll do that if they get these fuel cell things. And so they're like, we'll kill you and take them, or you can give them to us. And they're like, And so Han Solo is like, don't worry, Woody Harrelson, I've come up with a plan that will allow us to give them the fuel cells, and we can square our debt with Vision. And basically he's immediately like, no you can't, I'm going now. And Han Solo's like, you going? And he's like, yes, I am going now. And the film made the film made it very clear that Harrelson's only goal was to pay Vision. So you're just sitting there like, what's going on, dude? And he's like, I am going to go to Tatooine because on Tatooine there is a gangster. He's a big shot crime boss, and he has a job. And it's like, he may as well have just said, remember episode 4? Han, you're going to need to go to Tatooine. That's why I'm telling you this. And he's like, oh, okay. It's just like, brilliant, excellent, fantastic. And so he leaves. Totally not implying that he might come back because he's really pissed that this is how their plan went. No, siree. And then Han is like, alright, this is the plan. And then we cut to the villain quarters or whatever, and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And they walk in with the power cells, and for some reason Vision like implies that he believes every single thing they're saying, even though we know that there's something going on. But he's like really on board with it. He's like happy. And he's like, yeah, you've done everything right. This is great. Oh, it's sad that that Woody Harrelson didn't make it. And it's just like, yeah, you know.
Shit, dude. Fucking. Do you know TB passed away?
He's dead.
Yeah, that's what I was putting out of the blue. I sorry, out of the blue, but like, damn, today.
Really?
Yeah, somebody in chat said it, and I immediately looked on PC Gaming and saw it. Like, oops. Derail, sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's fucking gay, isn't it?
I thought we had way more time than that. I didn't realize it was going to be that fucking quick. God damn it.
Well, you went into surgery like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
No, I know. I just literally arguing from a position of just reality. You're not going to be this shit, are you? Ah, that sucks. I feel really weird about carrying on with Star Wars now that that's happened. This is not fair. God, there's so much shit's gonna happen on the internet for this. Gonna have quite the ripple effect across so many different collections of fan bases.
I'm apparently too low again.
Too low? I haven't changed anything.
I don't know.
Don't know what to say about that. It's just weird.
Wow, random guy. How dare you? You should have kept quiet.
Yeah, because there's just nothing to be done aside from just, like, one of the first YouTubers I was watching properly.
No.
16 minutes ago that was posted as well, so it's probably brand new news, I'm assuming. When was that tweet made? 11:53 p.m. Yeah, that was literally 19 minutes ago. That sucks. Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing to be done aside from, I suppose, there's going to be a lot of different people are going to have to make a lot of videos. There'll probably be a lot of celebrations of him and a collection of like the achievements he's done, all the inspiration he's brought, and general assessment that he was great for PC gaming, and that there's going to be no one that can fill his shoes, and it's a very unfair way to die, because how old was he anyway? Late 30s, was he? Early 30s?
Well, I think it's like mid 30s.
Yeah. Oh, that's why Bio wanted you to check the Discord, apparently, because it was just whether or not 34, 33. He was early 30s then. Yeah, because like this isn't arbitrary. It's like this is someone that both me and Alex have cared about for a while. So it's just rough. And I think that, even though there's like cruel jokes every once in a while and different fan bases that have hated him for different reasons, I think everyone's probably gonna mostly respect it. I say mostly. So anyway, to try and get back on track with Star Wars, we're nearing the end anyway. It's just fate is cruel. If only we were if only this happened an hour later, so that we could have been done. Sad news. We'll just try and get through it. Maybe get back into the atmosphere, because this is obviously awkward now. But yeah. The whole point of the scene is that they've got the real energy stuff because they know they're about to be double crossed. Han Solo knows that it's like a triple back and forth. Vision thinks he's trying to trick him, but he knows that Vision knows that he's trying to trick him. So the whole scene is going to Han Solo's plan is kind of the point of it. But then we don't realize that until the first set of things happen, which imply that Han Solo was tricked. For example, they get his gun that was a secret. They figure out that he's not actually here to sell the stuff. And they do all this shit that could easily have Han Solo killed, is the part that always got me about watching this. Any moment they could literally kill him, but you know that he can't die, because this is a fucking prequel. So, it's just confusing, because you're just like, why aren't they killing him? And there's just no reason. And then they've sent a bunch of people to go and take over that refinery. It's like 12 dudes. And then Han Solo comments that he's like, ha ha ha, you shouldn't have sent all of your bodyguards there. And I find it so hard to believe that this massive mob boss has like 12 bodyguards plus 2 in this room. It's like, is that it? You're supposed to be someone who's so threatening people travel the universe to get things for you. And it's like, you have 12 guards. Okay. Yeah. So all those guards get wiped out, and it turns out the trap that was set for them, well, the trap that they set was also a trap because it was a trap for them, so it's just whatever. And they all get killed. And then it's like a fight breaks out. No, sorry, everyone who has a blaster gets shot or is weaponless, and then Woody Harrelson, I completely forgot about this element. It turns out Woody Harrelson was evil, in case anybody didn't know. And he comes in and he's like, I was working for Vision the whole time to square my debt, and it's just like, fine. And then he takes the opportunity to kill everyone when he gets double-crossed alongside Vision, and just takes Chewbacca to his ship with the fuel to live his own life. And then Emilia Clarke kills Vision, to skip over this a little bit faster, and it's like, you betrayed me, how dare you? And then there's this super awkward bit where she's like, Han, go chase after Chewie, he needs you. And he's like, come with me? And then she's like, no, I need to collect these jewels in this room so that we have money for leaving.
This will take approximately 10 to 15 minutes. You should go on.
The reason I don't fucking understand it at all is because you would expect them to use that ship to escape, so Han would be like, yeah, that's fine, love, we'll do that later, we're gonna go save Chewie first. But she's like, no, I will collect the jewels. It's like, fine, okay, and he just leaves, and then he catches up with Harrelson, and it's probably my favorite part of the film. Woody Harrelson's like, you shouldn't trust her, because she's gonna betray you. She's more loyal to surviving than she is to you, or something like that. And then Han's got his gun on him the whole time, and then Woody Harrelson goes to put his hand down and begins to say something, and then Han just shoots him straight in the heart, and he's like, that was a good... He was like, that was a good idea, because I would have killed you. And it's supposed to be the whole Han shoots first sort of thing, so it was like, hey, that was actually a decent moment in this film that would be something I would actually put in a Han Solo film myself. It's like, excellent, whatever. And then it's revealed that Emilia Clarke is in fact not a good guy. She wasn't staying behind to stuff jewels into a bag. She was actually working for Darth Maul the entire time, who is now he is the boss of, what were they called? Crimson Dark?
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. And it's so funny because he's sitting on a throne, he has robotic legs to obviously account for the whole chopped in half thing. He has his lightsaber with him, and it's got the handle from the Rebels TV show, because I've seen it already, so apparently that is definitely canon, which, in that, I think he got his legs reattached with robotic shit or whatever, I don't know. But, she updates him on everything, but she lies about a couple of things. She's like, oh yeah, he was betrayed by Woody Harrelson, he's dead now, I'm going to take over the whole operation, we just need to get the fuel, and Darth Maul is like, well good, because we have like a million plans to do all kinds of evil things, and it's like, oh my, what are they going to do? And then it's like over, the conversation's just...
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Did,
It cut out for a sec. Sorry, I'm here.
Oh, I hope that the stream didn't cut out. Because... Oh, I mean, it looks like they're reacting to the fact that I said Darth Maul. Feels like they're behind. Anyway, oh, and thanks for the Take Shackles Welsh boy. Thanks for the $2 no name. So anyway, the conversation's done. It's all over. They've got what they want. Darth Maul understands that Emilia Clarke's working for him now, and that he's like, we're gonna be in the sequel. And it's like, good. And then he activates his lightsaber, and it's the two sides.
I grimaces at it.
He just turns it on and then looks at her, and then the hologram goes away, and it's like, why? Like, why did you just do that?
Yeah, he's like, activates lightsaber. He's like, end message.
It is probably the most fan service thing that I've ever seen, because it's so misguided. It's like, they were like, look, he has his double-edged lightsaber. And it's like, okay.
Because we totally can't save that for the second game film.
Like, why would... That's what I would be thinking. I'd be like, don't activate the lightsaber, that's a payoff.
Because you know what you have to do? You just have to do the exact same thing you did in Phantom Menace. People will go wild. And instead, I'm gonna get hard on this.
And yeah, I'm not actually kidding, by the way. Darth Maul is in this film. And
we're not making this up.
It's definitely Darth Maul. He has his double-edged lightsaber, and it's so bad, it's funny. It's how I would have written that scene if you'd asked me to do it after I saw Phantom Menace originally, when I was like 12.
And he's wearing his hood, and then he takes it off and reveals his.
Yeah, it is so cringy, but I have to admit, I was just like, I can't believe they made it that bad. I love it. It's so bad, it's good. It's so fucking, it's such like, it would be an anime. Like, that's how I would picture them doing, if Star Wars was an anime, that's how they would have introduced Darth Maul coming back. unbelievable. And he's obviously all of that scene is supposed to set up Han Solo, a solo story too, which is not gonna happen if this film makes no money, which it looks like it's not. Star Wars is gonna fucking, because that's the thing, man. It's not just about if this film doesn't make money, it doesn't get a sequel. It's like, surely if this film doesn't make money, Star Wars as a brand is gonna start rotting away. Because like that was supposed to support this film, as far as I knew, but.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're pretty much at the end of the film now because I said he kills the guy. Blah blah blah. The people. It's kind of a lame scene. The people are like, "Hey, Han Solo, thanks for all this fuel. We're gonna go start a rebellion. You should join us. You could, be like a general or something because he's a general in the third film." And then he's like, "Nah, kid, I don't want to do that." And it's like,
No.
yeah, okay, thanks. And you've also got the element of earlier where Emilia Clarke keeps telling him he's a good guy and that's why he shouldn't be hanging out with her, kind of. And you get this sense of, like, the whole point of his character was that he was, morally ambiguous and then a good guy. And so this film is banking on that like crazy because they don't know how to do anything else with him. They're just like, is he a good guy? Is he a good guy? This film will work really well before watching episode 4 now, won't it? And, Chewie puts his arm on his shoulder, and it's like, yay. And it's just like, okay. Oh yeah, by the way, if Rebels is canon, Darth Maul dies in that show, Al, and Obi-Wan kills him, like, legitimately at the end of it, instead of just chopping him in half, because that doesn't kill anyone, obviously. And,
well, in that case, then, yeah, it's not canon then.
And, well, no, he kills him at the end of Rebels, which is set, before episode 4, but, like, close by, because Obi-Wan's old. He looks like Ben Kenobi sort of thing.
Right.
So, as someone's just said, which is going to make sense, if there's an Obi-Wan Solo film, which is almost confirmed at this point, it's probably going to have Darth Maul in it. Since he's in this one. So anyway, yeah, the Chewie and Han, that's it. That goes to credits, and that's pretty much the film. There's so much about it that's so cringy and stupid. Oh, well, there's the scene with Lando, I forgot. They go and find Lando because he abandoned them, and then Han Solo beats him because he steals his cheat card. But again, so they get the Millennium Falcon back. But you never find out why he's good at gambling. You never find out why he's such a good space pilot. You never find out why he's such a good shot. You never find out why he can speak Wookiee. For a Han Solo origin film, they don't take advantage of fucking anything.
Yeah. They didn't get him, like, his iconic jacket yet, do they? Like,
I guess they're saving that. Isn't it just he has like it's not even like an amazing costume. It's just like a vest with a white shirt. Is it? I can't even remember.
Yeah, well, he definitely did have white shirt in this one. Yeah.
Ike of Pile. Darth Maul getting robot legs and becoming a crime lord is a 3D CG Clone Wars storyline. He originally ran the Shadow Collective. Crimson Dawn is new. Yeah, I don't know if it's in Rebels because I haven't seen it, but it's just funny as someone who only watches the film because it comes across to me as them being like, we've exhausted pretty much everything from the OT now. We've even made a solo fucking film about one of the characters that nobody wanted, so why don't we start looking to the prequels to get stuff that people want to see? Because a lot of people are starting to say that they want, more... Well, they're starting to say they like the prequels. So maybe Disney's reacting to that, because The Force Awakens pretended the prequels didn't fucking exist. The Last Jedi is pretty much the same thing, same with Rogue One. But this film is almost trying to bank on the prequels now. So it's interesting direction. But that is the Han Solo film. What I'll say now is if you guys want to ask any questions quickly, we'll stay for another like 10 minutes or so.
I can do a little bit longer.
I was going to say, we could probably have a chat after the stream anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, 10 minutes, folks. Any questions about the film or, I don't know, what I'm planning on doing with this? I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going to make an Unbridled Rage and then a critique, because there's lots to talk about in this film in terms of the choices they've made, I think. And it's not terrible. It's just not remotely good. I think that it is exactly what everyone was expecting, to be perfectly honest with you. Which is not good for it at all. And it's gonna get... This film is ripe for destroying. which is not good for the Star Wars franchise right now. Especially because we've got another year and a half before the next one comes out, so...
Bloody hell. They should have paced it a bit more, surely.
Absolutely. I honestly think that they've released this earlier because it helps The Last Jedi a little bit with all these little, like, pieces. And maybe they pushed it up because of how badly received it was. I don't fucking know. I'm assuming this already had the release date well before The Last Jedi even came out, so I'm probably talking out my ass. But I don't get that choice either. May the 24th be with you? Is that the point of it? May the 24th? You know, I don't know. It's a weird choice.
No, that's May the 4th, mate.
Well, I know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, are they stretching it?
May the 24th because of scheduling.
and yeah, a year and a half for us to all sit on The Last Jedi and the Han Solo film before we can have something new from the Star Wars films. It's like, that is a year and a half of insults for Star Wars.
Maybe
Good luck with that.
Maybe they're hoping like play the fans would like kill themselves before then.
So rating out of 10. I don't usually do those, but I'm saying this is absolutely arbitrary, right? Don't take this seriously, but my rating is probably a 4.
I was going to go 5.
4 or 5, I'd happily assess it as a 4 or 5. And yeah, would you recommend it, Al?
Nah.
I wouldn't recommend it either. I don't think it's worth seeing. You've pretty much you could have guessed most of this film, and
it's not going to it don't expand enough of the Star Wars for anything. It's just meh.
If anything, it did make me kind of interested. I'll see a second one just to see what happens with this Darth Maul shit, and almost for the funnies, like, because I could just see it being so dumb. Like, I'm on board with that. Anyway, I'll try and answer some of these quickly. Did you talk about Han Solo gets his name? We did cover that. Could it have been saved? Oh, if you'd asked me to fix the Han Solo film, I would have said we need to go from the ground up, because... lots of rewrites for a lot of things. Yeah. Did the film add anything to Han Solo's character? Absolutely not. There's nothing that I feel I have gained thanks to this film.
The dice. The emphasis on the dice. That's a thing now.
I mean, the funny fact is that there's more effort put into those dice than any other element of Han Solo, and those dice were made important by The Last Jedi, so... I'm just like, I don't get it. Is it sporadically interesting? I wouldn't describe it like that. There's just a couple things I liked in it. That's as far as I would go. How was Lando? I missed a bit of Family Dinner. I don't know why Lando was in this film, really. Nothing interesting happens with him, from my perspective. He's a gambler. He joins them. He has a love interest in a robot. The robot dies, very sad, and that's it for Lando. I don't really... They didn't do anything with him.
Like, not to be Joseph Anderson on this, but I think it would be better if Lando also had interest in fucking, what's his name?
Emilia Clarke?
Emilia Clarke, yeah. Just because, like, he's like, he's...
Tie him to the main plot, because he's such a third party in this. And it's kind of just like, come in? Yeah. No, you gotta leave now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's like the fucking the Goonies. He's like, you know, he's just packed his bag and just tagged along.
Klein Dropper, thank you for the $5. And it says, I got here late. Could you just say, essentially my catchphrase. Also, I think the original Star Wars opened this weekend. Oh, is that why? Is it? If that's why if that could be it. If the original opened this weekend in 1977, sorry, then that could be why they did it. Not gonna help at all boost your film.
I don't care about that significance.
And you're gonna have to wait for my video to hear me say that. I feel too dancing monkey-ish to just say stuff. It's weird to me.
It's cool, but it's like, who cares?
My chat's all laggy, so sorry if it takes time for me to get to certain questions, or if I miss any. Just trying to get to good questions. If we ignore Star Wars, was it entertaining? So what do you think of this film, if Star Wars didn't exist as a franchise?
It'd just be like an average sci-fi heist film thing. There wouldn't be anything special.
You know, it would be weird because of the amount of things that they mentioned that if you had no Star Wars knowledge, you'd just be so confused. You know, like all the different people and place names. You'd be like, why do they keep doing this? Is there some kind of like other films?
Well, Han would still be a Mary Sue, so that would just be boring.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think if you take Star Wars away from this film, it almost becomes even more mediocre, if that's possible.
Should we be more interested by default that you don't know what he is really?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Stretch face man would still be shit.
Yeah, to be honest, they didn't really utilize Paul Bettany in this film. Like,
no, they're the one scene when he sat down with Emilia Clarke. You know what we do to people who don't trust us, or
yeah, and he's not really in it though at all. Nah. He's in such a little amount of it, and why does he opt for laser blades instead of a gun? Much more personal. That must be it.
Yeah, I know that foreshadowing though. I might need them now.
What did you think about Solo's continuity from this film to how he is in A New Hope? Is he so far stretched now that he's a different person? Something I said, and I can't remember if I said it on the stream or not, but I felt like he was getting close to the Han Solo we know from Episode 4, very close to the end of the film, just because of the fact that he shoots first, and the fact that he calls someone kid, and he's like, he comes across as I think the thing that's missing in this film from Han Solo is he's not he's a risk taker, but he's not confident enough in the, like, he meets people and he's the person who knows the best. In this, he's just taking orders and recommendations and advice all the time, which you could be like, well, that's good as a beginning, right? And be like, yeah, which means this film doesn't really work unless they do get a sequel, because now we need to see him become cocky and you know, arrogant. Yeah,
and then just sit down with Chewie and explain how he's so awesome at all these things, just casually.
Yeah. That's how we would fix it. The first fucking discussion is like, I got this from this, this from this, this from this, this from this. Can we go? It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Any Wookiees from the Christmas special? A lot of people were saying that the Wookiee he headbutts is someone potentially from the Christmas special, and I was just like, I don't think they would ever want that to be associated, but maybe. What do you think the Obi-Wan movie will be like? I mean, me and Alex will go see it if it comes out. Disney Star Wars, this is the really weird thing. Disney Star Wars to me is like a guarantee of you're probably going to get bad or mid content. However, Disney Marvel films right now,
honestly, I am one of those suckers or fanboys when it comes to the Obi-Wan film. It has to be Ewan McGregor. It has to be.
Oh, I agree with that. If it's not Ewan McGregor, that film's gonna be set afire.
Because I can, like, Han Solo, I can appreciate that Harrison Ford could not do it even if he wanted to, and obviously he did not want to.
Yeah, while Ewan McGregor is perfect right now.
But yeah, he's in that perfect age just before Alec Guinness was in the New Hope thing.
Yeah, he's just the perfect age bracket, because you can either de-age or re-age him by like 10 to 20 years right now if you wanted to, so he could fit in whatever story you're trying to make.
Well, just like him in Fargo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a twin. Oh, no, it's twin now. The fucking.
Well,
brother.
It is his brother, but how could it? We already had a problem with that. It's like, how could it not be his twin? They're like, no, it's the brothers.
Yeah.
Last Jedi was pushed back to Christmas. It was supposed to be May last year. Oh, that makes more sense. Fucking hell, that's quite the push, isn't it? The Last Jedi to be pushed from May to Christmas.
All that time to not fix it.
Are you happy that we'll have like a year and a half without a Star Wars film? I suppose I am, because once I cover a selection of things, I'm gonna go back to sorting out God of War, because that's way more like just fucking different. Because, you know, if it's good Star Wars films, then it's nice and interesting. But like this one, it felt like going to just see some random film, and it's like, this is the film that everyone wants to be discussing. So it's just like, all right, we'll use this one as the vehicle.
Yeah.
Instead of something like Infinity War, which was way more interesting. Would you rather have seen Lord and Miller's film? So, I still haven't got you to watch it yet, Al, but the Lego Movie, we definitely need to see that. Lord and Miller wrote that film, and they were originally the writers for this, but they got booted off the project by Disney because they didn't adhere to certain rules or something. And so everyone's convinced that film would have been good, and to be honest, absolutely, I would take their film over this one, because this script was boring. Wow. I would take, And this is the thing, you probably don't have much investment. If you saw the Lego movie and we got to talk about the writing in that film, I'm pretty sure you'd be like, shit, yeah, they should have made this film. Could Harrison Ford have saved this movie? God, no. How awkward would that be? He's like playing, you know, a 20-something-year-old. He's just like, wait, I'm gonna catch up. How would you rate the Christmas special for comparison purposes? Let's be honest, the Christmas special is horrible.
Oh, shut up, the Christmas special. It's not funny that you're aware of it.
I think Solo was pretty great in this Disney fanatical Star Wars universe. I mean, like I said, I don't hate it. I just, what do you reckon, Al? Do you think it's okay for what you expected, or was it pretty much just, you know?
It's all right for what it is. It's like not really bad. It's just kind of like meh all across the board.
I think this film has to thank The Last Jedi for why I consider it, you know, not terrible. It's like the bar has been set so low. How was Alden Ehrenreich's performance? I mean, I don't mind him. I thought he was fine. I just didn't believe that he was Han Solo, like, at all. And I'm trying to think of times where you've seen, like, a younger interpretation of a character that's established, and how many times has it worked. So, it's not easy. I don't know, just didn't seem that good. But I still didn't hate him or anything. I just thought he was fine.
Yeah.
Did Darth Maul have robot legs? He did. Ham-fisted reveal aside, do you think that the Kira working for a Sith Lord makes her slightly more interesting? Yeah, actually. This is the reason why I'd watch a sequel to this. I'd be like, I wonder what they're gonna do with that. And
Killed younglings.
I'm sorry, but as we've already established, like, this film is really mediocre, so if you're gonna go the fan-pandering route, just bring in a fucking Sith. They're way more interesting than any of the bad guys in this film are gonna be. Like, you know, am I gonna get scenes with Darth Maul running around and fighting good guys? I'll be like, yeah, sign me up, I'll watch it. It's not like I think it'll be great. It's just that it's far more interesting than not doing that. Can you do a Christmas special commentary while watching it? Me and Alex are definitely considering doing film commentaries at some point, and as for the Christmas special, I will definitely cover it at some point. I have to acknowledge that thing, because it's just hilarious content to make anyway. That was the joke. Yeah,
I could get like shit fucking faced or high as fuck watching the Christmas special for a laugh. We'll do it for Christmas time this year. Guaranteed.
Should be memes for your catchphrases. Anyway, yeah, so I think, am I good to wrap it up there? You alright?
Yeah, that's cool, but yeah.
Thank you all for coming to see. I see now that the only film that people are going to be massively interested in hearing me talk about are always going to be Star Wars films, because the breach of my records for numbers. I think I went up to like nearly 700 at one point. It's the best I usually get is 200 to 300, so there you go. That's Solo: A Star Wars Story, which is sad as a result of where this franchise is going overall, but still, you know, works as a piece of content that can entertain you, is probably what I would say, very vaguely. I think me and Alex will just agree to give it like a 5 out of 10. It's just the middle of the road. It's a film, is probably the kindest thing I could say about it.
Yeah. I wouldn't bother watching it unless, like, you know, you care to be in on the know, I guess. But otherwise, yeah.
And if you guys wanted to watch this again, or catch the parts you missed, go into the description, click the Discord link, join it, find the channel called Watto's Junkyard, and in a few moments you're going to find a link in there that'll be this, so you can keep it. Or you use the link you can see at the top of the screen. That's the easy way to do it. Because I'm not going to make this public, because I just don't want to shove my channel up with things right now.
Videos featuring me.
So, thank you all for watching, listening, and asking questions. And yes, you can expect in a week's time there will be a video for this. And you know, it should be some fun to make, because there's lots of stuff to fuck with in this. Thank you for hanging out, Alex, and see you guys next time.
No worries, ta-da.